Let me just tell you, first of all, why I've invited you here and why someone else has invited you here. We do feel like, just like Anthony was saying, we do feel like we have a great opportunity. That won't come till the end of the meeting when DW closes up the testimonial part in our product-driven industry that we have, because it's been amazing. Just today alone has been just amazing on testimonies, and most of us are just getting started within the last few months with these products. But one of the reasons I reconnected with Tom Maurer, who is the founder, the co-founder, along with his son, with the SISEL. I was involved with Tom Maurer about 20-some years ago, and the reason I got involved was not so much on the nutrition, which you'll hear a lot about tonight, but I tell this story a lot because it's true, and everybody has their I story. But all the time I was growing up with 26 grandchildren in my grandma's family, I was one of those that they picked me out that I was the most like my grandmother. Well, the thing I remember about my grandmother was that she had a little knot on the top of her head, and I thought, oh no, when I get to be an old woman, I'm not going to have any hair. So I always prided myself in taking care of my hair. Well, when someone approached me on Tom Maurer's products 20-some years ago, one of the things that was sent to me that was my hot button, and everybody has a hot button, but the thing that really got my attention was the fact that he had sent, my friend had sent me from California, had sent me after 3 months of just saying, can I send it? Because he knew not to send it if I wasn't going to watch it. So I said, yeah, go ahead and send it, I'll watch it. When I came home at midnight, I'd been in Cincinnati, I'll never forget that night. Because you know what, you can't, once truth is exposed, you can't ever get away from it. I don't care if it's in religion, if it's in politics, if it's in business. Once you know something that's truth and fact and it's numbered, you got it. So when I put in that old VHS and turned that on that night, at that point in time, remember, I'm worried about my hair as a young, mid-age, I'll say by then. And I said, I watched that, and I had always used Paul Mitchell because I thought if you paid more for it, it was better product. That's just what you do. That's how you think, right? Well, that's what I had in my shower stall. When I saw the video that night and heard Tom Maurer back then talk about this, that the chemicals that's in the shampoos and the skincare and things that we're putting topically on our skin, when they're loaded with what we call carcinogens or cancer-causing ingredients, that's the what we call the harmful ingredients that we're dripping on our bodies every day. He said the thing that you're trying to preserve is the thing you're going to lose, and that was at that point in time. I mean, how many look in their showers and see all that hair in the shower stall? That actually is engine degreaser and antifreeze that you're putting on your skin and in your hair. So I'm thinking, oh my goodness, the thing that we're fearing the most has come upon us type thing. So I ran upstairs, I said, well, I guarantee you Paul Mitchell doesn't have that in their products. So I ran upstairs, and one of the first ingredients on the Paul Mitchell, you guys go home tonight, check that out, but one of the first ingredients on the Paul Mitchell back then, now it's still in there, I don't know what line of sequence it's in, but it was propylene glycol and sodium lauryl sulfate. I thought, why would they do that? Why would the government let them put something in products? Well, when you find out that's grandfathered in, and those that came in under the grandfather, they get to keep that in there. So here I am using these products. I thought, oh, the next question is, with something that good, it's going to be very expensive. So I looked at that and realized it was concentrated, and you use pea-size in the ingredients or the products. I realized then that's what I wanted. That was my journey on that day and that night at midnight with Tom Maurer's products. And since then, I've made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s with the company. He's bought me 4 catalogs. He's buying the one I'm driving now because I car qualified. Not because I'm so good, because I'm fired up. I want people to know what I know and keep learning. So with that in mind, my husband's hot button was, if I have that here, my husband's hot button was, and he tells us all the time, is everybody brushes their teeth, hopefully. But Tom brought this out. Go look on your box of your toothpaste. Sometimes it's not on the tube, it's on the box that you throw away, and whoever reads ingredients on a toothpaste. And on this, it tells you, if swallowed, call the Poison Control Center. And if you're under 6, you need guidance. You need someone there with you. If that child swallows that, call the Poison Control. Why would we ever put something in and on us? And kids, Tom used to say back in those days, have you ever noticed how many kids are wearing glasses today? Just little kids. He says, think about the no-tear shampoos. they pride themselves. They can put all this soap in their eyes and not cry. And all they're doing is putting chemicals in their eyes and taking time and taking the development away and reducing what it could be for them. Now it's interesting, that same company that had the no-tear shampoo, they're the ones that have the best stock and the most money involved in selling these same kids the contact lenses because the kids' eyes are not good now. So think about that. They make money all the way through life on our ignorance. So I just refuse, as much as I can learn, there's hardly a day goes by that I'm not listening on something about a product or ingredient with the SISEL products. So when I found out that Tom had created the SISEL company, started over in Japan about almost 10 years ago now with 25,000 Japanese. What is it that they know that we don't, that we refuse? See, over there in the Asian countries, they hire a doctor to keep them well. If they get sick, they fire the doctor. Different way of thinking, isn't it? So that's what we're involved in tonight. I appreciate you coming, and DW is on fire with what we're doing. And I tell you what, all of us in this room, that unless you're a first-time guest, all of your lives have been affected by what DW has spoken into our lives. And so we don't worship men, but we sure are grateful and very thankful that he's come all the way from Denver, Colorado, giving up a week with his sweetie, and trying to get home. But he's going to be busy all week. We want to bring him on and let him tell you about these wonderful products. And let me just say this too on this issue. I was telling Faith tonight, her husband has a very good job, works very hard, leaves at 6 in the morning, doesn't get home till 6 at night. But I said, in this day and age, it just doesn't hurt to have a B plan or a backup plan, because things can go awry really quickly in this world. Amen? Amen. So I want DW to come. DW, his name is Dan, but we have to call him DW because there's so many Dans in the company. So he's identified with DW. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for such a wonderful opportunity. Well, let me say this. One more thing. Tim and Audrey were in my group in New Ways. And so we kept taking the products. I was on AutoShip for 20-some years. Just went off of it about 4 or 5 months ago. And Tim called me one day, he said, and he stayed on the products too. He said, Sue, he says, I don't think these products are the same since Tom's not with that company. Tom had sold the company through a divorce. It's a long story on that issue. Then restarted. Sold the company for almost $1 billion. And I said, Tim, all I know is go find Tom, find out what he's doing, get your products from him. And so Tim, on his own, did his little research, found Tom Maurer, found the SISEL company. And it wasn't maybe a few months later, he and DW, 2 hours from me, happened to be in my neighborhood. Stopped in. And I told them that we are not interested. We're heading to Florida. That never happened either. And so be patient with people like Tim was with me and DW. And every once in a while, Tim would just drop me a text. And I didn't pay a bit of attention to him, and he knew that, but just kind. And so now he and Audrey are my sponsors in this, and DW is my upline, and right now he's my mentor in learning as fast as I can learn. So thank you for coming, and DW, pour it on us, okay?
All right.
Give him a hand.
Man, Sue, you just, she's right. What she said was a little bit of wisdom. Don't wait till you're thirsty to dig a well. All right? Does that kind of make sense?
Yes.
And so, opportunity comes, and it's going to knock, but it's not going to beat your door down. And so we're here just to throw something at you that's made a big impact in our lives. And I too, like Joe King, I was in 100% resistance when I got a phone call from Anthony's mom, Laura Bacchini, out of Boston, Massachusetts. And her and I were best buds for a jillion years, and she called, and we caught up on some stuff, and I'd been to Australia for 3 years and just gotten back and been in town for a little while, and we were just going over some things. And she said, I want you to meet Tom Maurer. And I just went, and so I said, well, I have a lot of respect for Laura. And so I went, okay, I'll go meet Tom Maurer if I can work it out. Well, I worked it out, cleared some things up, went early in the morning. He was going to do a meeting all day long. I didn't want to go to a meeting. I'd taught and trained and done meetings and all kinds of stuff worldwide, and I just was meeting out. So I was like, no, I'll meet him before the meeting, and we'll yak a little bit. So I sat down with Tom, walked into the room, and here's what happens. We'll wreck all this display up here, so those that have had a fancy thing going, it's not going to last long. I walked in the room, and I looked over my shoulder. Tom walks up, and he says, are you DW? And it's Daniel Whited, but he goes, are you DW? And I said, yes, I am. And he said, good to meet you. And I said, you're Tom? Yeah. And I looked over my shoulder. Now keep in mind, I've been hanging out with my son for just a little while. This was during Christmas break, and he was out of college, and so he was coming back. And I don't use this language or talk like this, as a rule. But I looked at Tom, multi-gazillionaire, which I'm not intimidated by money or status or celebritism, none of that stuff. But I just looked at him, I go, over my shoulder, and I seen these 3 bottles sitting there, and I go, dude, I don't do juices. Just like that. So not only was I even resistant, I was just a little bit stupid right then, okay? Because that was disrespectful. That wasn't honoring at all, and we want to create a culture of honor. But based on experience, what I've seen people do, and he goes, in Tom's country is cornflakes. I mean, he just looks like he dresses like he came off the Grand Ole Opry and sharp and just kind of Utah cowboy style, and he's just very honest. You won't wonder what he's thinking. He's going to tell you straight up what he knows to be a fact. And a lot of times he doesn't operate with opinions. He operates with some facts and stuff. And he looked at me and I couldn't back up a little bit. I'm just a farm boy from Kansas, so don't let the Italian soup fool you. All right, I'm right there with Tom as far as the whole 9 yards there. And he looks at me and he goes, well, those ain't juices. And that kind of got my attention because he said, ain't. I kind of like that. I thought, maybe I can relate to this guy, right? Anyway, that's what went in my head. He goes, those ain't juices. And he goes, they're medicinal, therapeutic nutraceuticals. Now, I was pulled out of a company and sent to Australia and put up as a vice president of sales and marketing of Australia. And they gave me a kind of an assignment to get done in a 6-year period, and with the Lord's help, we got it done in a year and a half, because God can accelerate anything. I mean, like, boom, now. I mean, He's all over it. He's just waiting on us. We're never waiting on Him. And so, but with that said, and I won't get to preaching that, and if I do, we won't take up an offering, okay? All right, so okay, just check it. All right. And got more amens on not taking up the offering than I did on the preaching. What is going on with this group here? So we're yakking with Tom just a little bit, and he's telling me about the product. So I knew from where I was on the corporate side of a company, you can't make a claim like that unless you can back it up. And I'm telling you, we have experienced the fact that they're medicinal, therapeutic nutraceuticals. So we'll get into some of that. Some are familiar with New Ways and what Tom did back in the past. I remember sitting there and Sue was in Utah, and we want to give you an invitation to come to Utah as quick as you can. If you bought your ticket yesterday, you'd been 2 years too late. I mean, it's kind of like, let's do it now, Dwayne, still waiting on you, brother. And to get that, because Marsha's ready. She's ready for a trip and a weekend with you, man.
That's right.
And so, just saying, a little pressure, okay? And this is on tape. Get that right there? So, with that said, we're there, and I hear Tom talking. He goes, what we did back then in New Ways, he goes, that was pretty spectacular. He goes, however, it's absolutely child's play compared to the technology and the ingredients and the advancements in nutrition as to what we have right now. And he just began to take us, even 5 years ago when he started SISEL, so we're in our 9th year right now, and they've been doing things in the U.S. for about 4 years. And Joe and I have been teaming up and doing some things for it'll be 3 years. Really, next February is when we kick things into gear, but 3 years in December when we started getting knowledge and understanding what we have our hands on. And so it's very interesting to kind of just wrap your brains around what's going on when it comes to the technology side of nutraceuticals. Tom now has, just to throw a couple things at you, he now has a 440,000 square foot manufacturing facility. He manufactures for 40 other companies and produces products for them as well, based on what they ask him to build, just like a carpenter would do a house for someone. Well, what kind of house do you want? Then he has his SISEL company, which is his baby, and there he gets to build the most extreme, radical products that can move in and make a change in your life that you can get your hands on. The potency of everything that he has is off the charts crazy. And here's what's kind of fun. I'm looking for a SISEL Safe brochure. If we can find one, Anthony, somewhere, or whatever, we'll be glad to. We got them everywhere. I just didn't bring them in. So, and they're in the back. But what we have, do you have one here? Okay, almost one. All right. So, yeah, when Tom, it's okay. Yeah, that's a good one. We'll do it later. When Tom, they got one. They'll pull my bag out and pull one out, so it's no big deal. So when Tom kicked things into gear and he started putting this thing together, he wanted to go ahead and do some stuff for everybody else. But what he's done is, we're not going to ask you to trust us. I'm going to ask you to test us. Because I didn't trust him, I tested him as well. And Tom loves that. We want you to test what we got our hands on. We want you to test what we're doing. We want you to just wrap your brains around and just give it a go and find out. And so Tom has the same philosophy. I mean, and how he got started is pretty simple. He just, here again, he put things into gear when he's 73 years old about right now. And when he kicked things into gear after high school, when he tested out to be one of the #1 science guys on the planet at that particular time frame. And so what took place there is he was rated up here science guy, so he became a scientist. And then he went on and became a biochemist. And when he was 30 years old, he said God convicted him to get out of debt, so he did. Took him about 4 years to clear all debt. I mean, mortgage, everything, boom, gone. And so that's kind of a philosophy that he has. And so he got out of debt, and he started doing some industrial, and Sue knows the story, she lived the story as well as anybody in the room, and knows it inside out. But what he did was he started doing some industrial chemicals. And one of the industrial chemicals they did was a floor wax, and he made a degreaser. In the process of making that floor wax and making that degreaser, it was mandatory that he put on a hazard material suit in order to handle the hazard materials that is being injected into the floor wax, which once mixed and sealed, that hazard material would be sealed in, so once it's on the floor, it wouldn't get on your body, wouldn't hurt or harm you. He also, the same thing with the degreaser. And so they come into him one day, and here he is, he's in his 30s, and they said, Tom, you ever thought about doing personal care products? You know, like some stuff at home, you know, lotions and potions and just personal care stuff. And he goes, never have. And if you know Tom, it's the way he talks, suppose it could. Have to think on it. So he goes home that night. Now you think a biochemist and a science guy, I mean, you think he might have already done this by now, but he didn't. So he goes home and he reaches over and he grabs the shampoo bottle and he begins to read the shampoo, thank you very much. He begins to read the shampoo bottle, and he goes down here, and some of the ingredients that he's reading, all of a sudden smoke starts coming out of his ears. I mean, he's getting all kinds of mad and frustrated with what he's seeing. And one of the things, and here again, Sue's phenomenal training on this stuff, but one of the products was sodium lauryl sulfate, okay? Which is one of the same hazard materials that he had to put on a hazard material suit in order to handle, is in the shampoo. He reaches over and grabs the conditioner, and it's in the conditioner. He grabs the toothpaste, it's in the toothpaste. It's in the mouthwash. It's in the dishwashing liquid. It's in the laundry detergent. It's in all of his wife's lotions and potions that she had. Every single thing in the house, he's sitting there and seeing raw hazard material that's not sealed in, that is exposed and open to your pores and things. And so he couldn't believe it. I mean, he's shocked. He goes back the office. He calls up the supplier, and he mentioned about 4 different products, 4 different ingredients. And he goes, that sodium lauryl sulfate and some of the others, he goes, is that the same sodium lauryl sulfate that I'm using? Is that in the shampoo? They goes, yeah, same thing, Tom. He goes, but is it the same stuff that I'm using? He goes, it's the same thing, Tom. And he again asked him, he goes, you can't be the same potency. He goes, Tom, it's the exact same thing. You're getting yours by the 5-gallon drums, they're getting theirs by the semi-truckloads. And he could not believe it. Because, and here again, guys, a lot of people, some people go, well, I don't know that your body really will absorb all that stuff. Well, do this. Go somewhere where you go out to eat, order a glass of water, and you can smell the chlorine, you can smell the fluoride, you can just, the whole bit. And before you drink it or anything, you might want to clean your finger first or wash your hands or whatever. But just go and stick your finger in that glass for about 60 seconds and leave it. All right? Then take it out, and then taste the water, and you won't taste any of that junk because your body just absorbed everything in and went, sucked it right in. The pores, the skin, is designed to absorb stuff. And this is why Tom was so upset. He knew the absorbability. And here we're taking sodium lauryl sulfate, and what's the other one that starts with a P you talk about? Yeah, propylene glycol. I mean, you shouldn't say something if you can't spell it, so I don't even say it. All right? And, it sounds like a real fancy pizza or something. Yeah, so propylene glycol pizza. I mean, so Tom has this stuff, and he looks at it, and he's furious. He's ticked, okay? And he's got 4 or 5 kids at this time, so he comes home. The next day's kind of like, where you have 4 or 5 kids, every day's laundry day. I was raised in a family of 6, and there was always doing laundry. It wasn't like a laundry day, it was like a laundry week, And he took Sundays off, and that's it. That's for fried chicken and family. But anyways, so what happened, Tom comes in, and he takes a big bag, and he takes every single thing out of the house, and he throws it away. Every single thing out of the house. No longer was he going to put his family in a position where they were going to massage cancerous toxin-causing agents into his pores, into his skin, and the whole 9 yards. A few years ago, the Wall Street Journal came out with an article talking about shame on shampoos and shame on Johnson & Johnson and what they were doing with their baby shampoo. And back then they promised in 2013 they would take every single toxic ingredient out of their baby shampoo. They promised they'd do it. And to this day they haven't made one move, haven't changed one single thing. And there's an agent in that shampoo. They talk about it's tear-free and all that stuff. Well, sure it is. Because it goes in there and sends some little deal and goes, and just shocks your little eyes and numbs them so they won't feel the shampoo, so you won't have to cry over it. Well, that numbing agent also messes with the ability to see colors. And it used to be about 1 out of 40 kids would wear glasses. Now you're talking about, 3 out of 5. In some areas, 4 out of 5 are wearing glasses. Well, the same company, Johnson & Johnson's, guess what their number one of industry is right now? They make contact lenses. I mean, you talk about brilliant marketing. We're going to kill your eyes when you're a baby, and we're going to help you fix them when you get older. I mean, that is just horrid. That's just not right, but that's what's going on. And that's not who we are. So when we talk about, we want you to test us and not trust us, we mean it. And we have an entire system here. I used to tell everybody, take everything and put it on your kitchen table and look at it. Just grab 3 or 4 products. Grab your toothpaste. Grab your mouthwash. And grab your shampoo and just set it on the kitchen table and sit down with your spouse and read through some of this stuff. It'll kind of explain, what's toxic and what isn't. And go to this page right here. Open this little rascal up, and we'll make sure you get one of these. It's one of the best brochures, one of the best educational tools you'll ever want to get your hands on. And just go through this and see what's in what you're using. And they've gotten kind of tricky, try to rename things. Okay, so they get kind of interesting how they rename stuff so that you won't know what it is. Well, they can run, but they can't hide because we know what they're doing. And it's just to fool the consumers. Guys, people are waking up. You would not believe how many doctors are coming on board and being a part of what we're doing because they're sick and tired of giving narcotic and drugs and synthetic medications and are looking at the research site. I had just yesterday, the guys who were in the car with me had a doctor call that they asked me to come to Arizona, so I flew to Arizona on my nickel and dime and spent an afternoon with I think it's probably about 10 doctors in the room and 3 or 4 surgeons, and one guy was the #1 research guy from Arizona State University, and we spent time with these guys and we talked about just this product right here, just for Coit. Remember I said, hey dude, I don't do juices. You talk about having a stupid attack. All right, but everyone has stupid attacks, all right? But I didn't get stuck on stupid. Does that make sense? It's fine to have one, just don't get stuck there. Now, does anybody here know the difference between dumb and stupid? I mean, seriously, there is a difference. Everyone's kind of like dumb, not so good at something. I mean, it might be like, rocket scientists, it might be computers, it might be underwater basket weaving. We're all kind of dumb at something. All right, underwater basket. One person got it right here. All right, was it Cookie? Is that right?
Yes.
She got it. All right. All right. And but now dumb is really when you go do something that you're stupid at. All right, or stupid is you go do something you're dumb at. Sorry. Stupid is you do something you're dumb at. All right. And so what's neat about this product is, it's a life changer. And these research guys looked at the research behind this. Not what SISEL has to say about it. Not what my opinion is. Not even what some of my experiences are. They looked at the studies that have been done on every little ingredient that's in here. So I have people come up, have you done one of them triple, quadruple blind studies on your product? Well, we kind of went a little further. There's research and studies done on every single ingredient that's in what we have. It's way beyond what you could even imagine. And this is why they're going nuts on this. And I won't tell you what's in this quite yet. But we will start with that. So what Tom did, he threw everything out of the house. His wife says, are you kidding me? What do you think you're doing? And he just explained to her, this is cancerous and yada, yada, yada. I mean, back then, it's just, back then when you start talking that kind of language, people thought your butter done slipped off the biscuit, like you lost it, like something is really wrong with you. And so Tom got rid of it all. She said, what am I going to do tomorrow's laundry? And he goes, real simple. I'll tell you what we'll do. I'm going to go back and I'll build us a product. So he went back and he built them a laundry detergent. Then he built a shampoo for his family. And then he put together a toothpaste and he put together some mouthwash. And he went on and he put together everything in the house and replaced it. And they were happy and the word got out to 1 or 2 of the neighbors and they said, well, yeah, can we get some? And Tom's like, I will get you some. And so he got them some. And then the word got out again. And then finally, one of those multi-level company guys came along and said, hey, we'd like to sell your stuff, Tom. Can we do that? And he's like, well, suppose you could. And so he starts putting it together, and they sell it, and then they start lying and making claims about it, so he pulls the product from it. Then he tries, you talk about being burned by networking and MLM or whatever, and trust me, if you're in resistance to what we're doing today and someone brought you kicking and screaming, I understand that. I totally understand that, all right? But I'm just going to share something with you real quick today. We have changed, and Tom Maurer has changed the way we do everything. All right? Things have changed, and we do things completely different. And we talk about a culture of honor and respect. We have it right here, and we do things different. It looks a lot like some of the things, but still different. And so Tom goes in there, and he builds his stuff, and he sends it to another company. He pulls out. Finally, he just starts his own deal because everyone else is just, lying and cheating and doing things, and it just didn't work out for him. So he just did his own company. And what he started with was just to put you in a position to where you no longer are going to bathe and saturate and solidify and submerge yourself in toxicity and toxins. Every single product we have is to keep toxins off your body. And really, one of the best experts on that really is Sue. I've heard her talk several times, and every time, she talked about how you should brush your teeth the other day, and I went, what do you mean how you brush your teeth? Just like put junk on it. I went and bought one of them fancy things that does that, so they does the brushing for me. Talk about lazy. And, them Philips Sonic things, whatever they call those things, I don't know, it's a good deal at Costco. You should never go into Costco's, I'm just saying right now. They get me every time with their gizmos and stuff. And but she's talking about how you brush your teeth, with our toxin-free toothpaste. Our toothpaste isn't just toothpaste, it's something that heals up the gums. Let me tell you, one of my first experiences with the toothpaste is this. I got a son-in-law. You know how son-in-laws, and sometimes some son-in-laws are about sharp as a bowling ball. But this guy's a pretty sharp fella. And, he's one, Mikey, you're one of the good guys, okay? And, but he had a real bad fever when he was just a little feller, just a little bitty feller, and so bad that it burned out his roots on his teeth. So there was like no need for a canal because there wasn't hardly any roots. And so it just was little short roots on his teeth. And the doctor said, before you're 30 years old, you're not going to have any teeth. It's just the way it is. Sorry about your luck. You're messed up for life. And so, what he did was, he thought, well, I'm going to beat the odds on that. So he went out and bought the most high-powered toothpaste you could buy and those high-powered mouthwash you can buy. And he started scrubbing on his teeth, 5 to 6 times a day, throwing mouthwash on it, several times a day. And guess what he was putting on there? All that toxicity. I go in and I learn about this stuff, okay? So now I went from, 0 to hero because I have some knowledge. And I walk in there and I look at their bathroom, and he has his toothbrush and toothpaste even set up in the shower, plus one by the sink, because wherever he's at, he's going to be brushing and working on his teeth, so he doesn't want to lose them all. It's just something you kind of want to keep. And so I go in there, and there he has this big, huge, he has a bottle of Scope and a bottle of Listerine, and it's a little bit more high-powered than the traditional bottles, but you can get them from the pharmacist, and he has it. And on the box, it has a big, huge triangle with a skull in the middle of it, with 2 red things, and said, if swallowed, call poison control immediately. And I looked at this and I said, dude, are you kidding me? I said, we're going to get you some Terminator stuff. And this guy, he keeps track of his nickels and dimes. He said, once I use that up, he said, then we'll start with the stuff you're talking about. I said, you don't know who you're talking to. This is Granddaddy here. And I want to enjoy my grandkids, not raise them. So we're going to get this stuff that's killing you, we're getting it out of here. I want you to do the raising, I get to do the spoiling, okay? And in other words, I want you to live longer. And so I got rid of everything in the house, replaced it with this stuff here immediately, and it just was a blessing to him in that regards. He goes to the dentist. The dentist says, what are you doing? He said, your gums are getting stronger, your teeth are tightening up. He goes, this is not supposed to be happening. And he explained to him, well, I'm using this, and the whole 9 yards. Probably about a year later, his mama has to have a pacemaker thing put in her heart, and is having all kinds of heart troubles. And the dentist goes, and the doctor said it again to her, and he said, your dentist will validate this. So a lot of them don't tell you what they really know. They're not going to tell you. They just won't. And I won't go to my reasons why, but they just won't tell you. But this doctor said, now that you have this in, never, ever, ever, ever again can you use any kind of normal toothpaste or any kind of mouthwash. It has toxins and poisons that will leach down, drip down, and basically start destroying the heart, period. And so she got a hold of this stuff, and the same thing, the dentist and doctor said, what are you doing? And you know, because what we have our hands on, you know, even with our mouthwash that we have here, this stuff's powerful. I mean, it's absolutely powerful. This stuff is, I mean, this stuff what it does, it has ingredients that heals up the skin. I mean, God puts you in pretty good order that if you cut your finger, you're just going to automatically going to start healing. All right? You cut your finger, it's going to start clotting and start healing itself up. So you already got like healing power in you, whether you know it or not. It's there. This just adds to what's already there. So that's why I love it. Because one thing we believe in, if this offends you, well, sorry about your luck. Here we go. We believe in prayer and products. Just the way I run. Okay? And if you like it, cool. I'm praying for you whether you like it or not. That's my decision. But so, because we believe in this, we believe faith without works is what? Yeah. So we have, faith is the prayer part, correct? What's the work part? What's the work part? Nobody knows because no one's really doing the work because we don't want to like work our way to heaven. So we got that down. But the works is where we do everything we can within our power to do the right things and make the smart decisions over what's going on us and in us and through us. And so this is why I love the products. I absolutely love it. So this product right here, we heard some stuff last night. So Amanda talks about, we got a call from Amanda, and she's down in Lagodi, Indiana. Odin actually is the closest town to where they live. And she calls me up and she said, my son Gary, and I think, what's Gary, 12 years old, something like that?
Yeah.
Little Gary's 12 years old. It's the beginning of this summer. And they said Gary's having no trouble with all these polyps and these growths in his nose. Matter of fact, one is so big, it's like a big old finger hanging down through his throat, going down into his throat. Now think about that. I mean, think about something getting caught in your throat. How'd you like to have something just kind of dangling in there and it's a growth going? I mean, that's gross. That just make you, I want to say gags, I won't say that, but, you know. What, Tim, you all right? All right, just check. So, what happens with this, she calls us, what are we going to do? And it was just so funny, she's telling the story, and I'm sitting with Tom Maurer on the front row, and he's doing some research and looking at things while she's talking, and he goes, well, you better use Terminator. And she goes, well, I called DW, and he said to take some Terminator and take a saline solution bottle, throw out the solution, put the Terminator in there, and start spraying it up his nose, 2 or 3 times a day. And she thought, well, that is the craziest thing I've ever heard of. And she goes, but they've already done 2 big surgeries on this young boy. And the doctor goes, all right, surgery number 1, let's go, that'll get it. They do surgery number 1, didn't work. Okay, well, since that didn't work, I'll tell you what we're going to do, let's go do surgery number 2. Are you kidding me? So they do surgery number 2. Get them all prepped, do it the whole bit. Comes out of surgery number 2. A few months later, didn't work. Oh, I got the answer. The doc says, let's do another surgery. I mean, how many times you got to slice and dice on someone before you realize that, hey, woo, man, let's change things. So she felt scared to go against the doctor's wishes, but she also wanted to honor something different, new, and so she did. She took her son and said, we're going to take a different approach. And she started blasting this stuff up his nose for 2 or 3 weeks and took him to the doctor, didn't say a word what she was doing, scared to say a word, walks into the doctor, and the doctor looks at him and said, oh my goodness, there's absolutely zero drainage. She always everything's just draining and draining and draining all the time down this young man's throat. And she goes, those polyps about cleared up. There's one more that needs a little bit of work on it, but this, so I guess that stuff we're doing is working. She goes, well, Doc, I got to tell you something. I didn't want to not tell you this, but I don't want to tell you this, but I didn't do what you told me, because they had this bunch of junk they wanted to spray up his nose, and steroids and salts and all kinds of crazy stuff, and it just wasn't working again. And she goes, we took this product, this mouthwash called Terminator, and we started misting it up his nose, and his polyps are gone. And now the little feller's, with prayer and products, with some works, this little guy's doing so much better, and they just can't believe it. I mean, that whole area is like, are you kidding me? And we've seen people that have things wrong with their skin and going on, and this is something you can just, this also comes, I guess I should have brought my bag in, because we have a little bitty bottle. Yeah, you can grab it. We got a little bitty bottle of this too, that comes with a little spray thing. So if you got something going on your skin or acne or something like that, this is going to go get the fungus and stuff out. And so this is just an amazing, amazing product that is just a mouthwash. You're going through acid reflux, just let about a cap of this slowly throw it to the back of your throat and just let it slowly drain down your throat real slow. And it'll begin to heal the whole tract. I mean, if you took a picture of your tract, those that are going through acid reflux, you'll see like a pill tract through there, because a lot of people are taking pills and stuff, it'd be like a pill tract going down there, and it just starts healing it up. And this has the properties in it to heal up the skin. And so it's for exterior and interior of what's going on with you. You get the flu, you get sick, you feel like you're going to get sick and throw up. Throw some of this on it. It goes and annihilates and kills some of the bacteria and funguses that's going on. This is a phenomenal, off the charts, crazy product. There's a couple things. If you don't listen to anything we say tonight, jump on the shampoo and conditioner. I mean, a lot of people, how many here would just, drive down the road and all of a sudden you look over there and there's this big truck with all these red things on it and it says hazard material. Who would pull in front of that guy and throw your flashers on and wave your arms down and pull that truck over and then run in there and go, all right, here, give me a glass of some toxic stuff? Who would do that? Nobody. But when we walk in the aisles of the superstores and the Walmarts and all the places that we go and the Targets and the Costco's, that's what we're doing. We're loading ourselves with toxins, and guess what? Most of us, we just don't really know it. We don't wake up one day and say, woo, let me see how many toxins I can take. We don't do that. We're trusting the guys that make them. Well, the guys that make them, there's other agendas behind things, possibly not. I'm not going to debate that. I just know this will kill you, and this won't. Okay? It's just that simple. Continue to use what kills you. I'm going to love you anyways. All right? I'm going to pray for that you don't stay stuck on stupid, but I'm still going to love you. That was a little harsh. Toothpaste, same way. I mean, this is just phenomenal. A little dab will do you on this toothpaste, and we learned from Sue that you take your brush instead of getting it all wet and everything like you normally do, which will dilute the product maybe just a little bit. Do it in full form on a dry brush, and with the little thing I use, I put it all through there. Then I turn the power thing on and just go and just have a blast, and just brush away. And then when you're done, yeah, that's it. Bring it on, brother. And then just spit some out a little bit. What's in there, and then you take the mouthwash and you start rinsing and doing your thing with the mouthwash. And so it's it's pretty cool. So just showing you what we have here. You could just. What's neat is you can put a videotape on me 24/7 and see what I do, and you're gonna find out. So I take this stuff with me, and this goes down the road. And so you got a skin problem somewhere, a little acne, a little something like that. Use what we have going on here. This is just a little bottle, just a little thing that you just kind of hit the road with, and that's pretty good. And you want to pass that around or anything? You ready? Okay. Another thing we have that I wanted to get into that's kind of cool, that Tom put together. All right, there's a big debate in America about whether you should do 100% organic or just go get stuff at the store and just whatever happens, happens. So Tom just doesn't care. Whichever way you are, it's okay. Don't worry about it. We have a product called Organic Cleanse, and this is another phenomenal, off-the-charts, crazy good products. I wish that we'll do it next time. So just remind me, and we'll just swip by and make sure it happens. But you get some red grapes, for an example, and take these red grapes. And would we do this in Pennsylvania? I can't remember if we did or not. If we did, we didn't tell you about it, okay? And we've done it a few times. But you take the red grapes and just rinse them like you'd normally rinse them, and take a bite and eat them. And then you take another off the same stem, take another set of red grapes and just rinse them. And then you're going to put them in a little bowl, and you're going to take about a cap of this Organic Cleanse, and then you take your grapes and you put it down there and swash it around for about 3 minutes and just let it soak. And when you pull it out, the gunk that's in the water will these are grapes that you would normally, they're already ready to eat. Okay? Already ready to eat. So you just, you put them in water, swash them around, just let them sit there for a while, and then take them out, rinse them off again, and eat them. And the difference in taste is the difference between night and day. I mean, those grapes come alive. They pop. That freshness comes out. Because whatever wax and stuff is put on them is washed away. If it's all organic, whatever little wormies and junk, is washed away. If they're not organic, all the pesticides that they sprayed on to keep the wormies away, it's washed away. It's gone. You can wash your vegetables. You can wash your fruit. You could. Dee, it's good to see you. I didn't get to say hi to you earlier. We've been talking to these guys for a while, so sorry about that. You popped right in my face. So there we go. And so what happens is you wash everything away, and you do the same thing. You do your meats the same way. You can wash your meat off. If you knew what was on your meat, some of the stuff, now you don't bring everything home and wash it. You try to wash it about 15, 20, 30 minutes before you eat it, because it will strip everything off, and that stuff will begin to disintegrate fast. And so, so it's just kind of one of those things that Tom has done that is a game changer when it comes to preparing and cooking. And so my buddy him and his wife just bought a new restaurant, And we got a lot of coffee stuff, and then maybe Anthony will touch on that in just a little bit. But we have things that just really help there. So you get into that. So Tom has several things that help you. This is another thing you'd want to get if you just bought a couple things here, just kind of got started with the shampoo and conditioner, toothpaste, mouthwash, and the laundry detergent. This is pretty cool stuff. Miss Helen's going to college right now and going to school of ministry, or she probably, I'd have her on the phone, let her talk to you about this, but she loves to do laundry, and she loves this. Loves it, loves it, loves it, loves it. No toxins, no fillers, no floaters, no chemicals, no hazard materials in this product whatsoever. So you're either wearing clothes or sleeping in or on sheets, 24 hours a day. And what you're putting on your clothes is going to rub off and get into your body. It's just the way it is. And so this is absolutely fantastic. Remember I told you about Mikey, my son-in-law. Awesome, awesome feller. Well, their oldest daughter, okay? Her name's Alexia. And Alexia was breaking out on whatever she would wear. No matter what they washed in, she'd break out like crazy. And she was not allowed to, she couldn't even, shampoos, everything was breaking her out. So we come along just in time to say, hey, give this a go. This does not break her out. She never had, she lived a lot, it doesn't sound like no big deal, but when you're a little kid, kind of having a bubble bath is kind of a fun. She could never do a bubble bath. And I remember Danielle Lee coming from Denver, going to Kansas City where Daisha Jean lives, and Mikey. And she goes, I'm going to take Lexia, and she's going to have her first bubble bath. And her mom's like, oh no, this is going to be a disaster. Come on, Dad knows what he's doing. Let's just give this a go. We have bubble bath. I don't know if it's here or not, but we got some bubble bath for the kids and stuff. She filled that bathtub up, and she put all that bubble bath in there and threw that little princess in there, and she was so excited to get to take her first bubble bath. She was jumping, I get to take a bubble bath. It's no big deal to y'all, but when it's your first one and you're just a little, little fry, it's kind of a big deal. Nothing happened, okay, except she had a blast, and she now does bubble baths as often as she wants, uses our shampoo and conditioner, the whole 9 yards with everything that we have here. And then they were going through allergies real bad. The same kids, right? Just going through some allergies. And so we got on some other products, and boom, cleared things up for them. It's been a game changer, just in my own personal family. And once you've been exposed to what we're doing, I think that I feel it's an honor to get to share with you what we're doing. I feel it's a privilege to stop and say, Wayne, we got something that's making a difference. And I just feel, I'm not like trying to get you into something. You don't need that. You don't need that in your life. I'm trying to show you something that is a game changer and life changer for your quality of life that you live in. So we want to put you in a position to where you no longer are putting any kind of toxins on your body whatsoever. And if you have something you kind of want me to touch on, hit on, or just raise your hand or whatever, just let me know, Sue, kind of what's going on. But otherwise, I'm going to proceed. Okay. Well, you're an honest person. I didn't know if you were going to keep that or not. Not just teasing.
I was thinking about
And so if I had another one, I'd let you have her. And those things aren't that expensive, and it's just kind of fun to have, and boom. So you use it as as directed, which is, it will say on there, don't swallow. Tom, the FDA makes Tom put that on the bottle. A little baby can drink that entire Terminator. It's not going to hurt him at all. So every one of our products, it's safe. SISEL Safe isn't a slogan; it's a promise. It's a promise. It means there's no toxins, there's no hazard materials, there's no contaminants, there's no fillers, floaters. There's nothing that's going to harm your body. It's going to help bring life to you instead of taking you out of this planet. So Tom moved from that, and here again we have a lot of stuff that you can do. Stuff that can wash your hands in, and the whole nine yards there, keeping your hands clean, and then he moved into a little more advanced technology. And he started to work on things that get toxins out of your body, just extract them out of your body. And I've had people tell me, say, well, I'm really healthy, I don't have any of that stuff in my body, and I feel like, oh man, I hope we can get this guy, because he's stuck on stupid, I hope we can bring him forward. And I got to thinking about how to explain it. And has anyone here in the room ever replaced your filter in your air conditioning or heating unit in your home?
Oh, yeah.
Was it pure clean, or did it have some gunk in it? Wayne? Had some gunk. He didn't want to admit it, but had some gunk in it, right? How about the filter on your automobile? You ever replace that? It can get gunky from time to time. You need to just every other oil change, give it a go, and blow it out or change it. Well, when in your house, and you take your filter, When you suck in air and go, you're sucking air at a faster velocity than what your cold air return is sucking in air. And so all that dirt that's in that filter, where did it come from? The air. And what air are you breathing into yourself? Same air. And let me ask you this, where's your filter? How are you getting that junk out? Don't know. You're not. It's probably getting stuck in your joints, your brain, you're everywhere. I mean, it's crazy what happens. The toxins, it's absolutely shocking. The massive amounts of heavy metals that are in someone's body. So Tom started working on some of these things that get toxins out of your body. And we're going to get into the thing that I have fun with, because this is something that I made the most fun of him about, was these 3 bottles. And he enjoyed every minute of that. Because we sat down and we talked for 2 hours before his meeting started. And Tom said, he said, I've been through some really tough stuff in life. He goes, would you like to hear about it? And I said, no, I wouldn't. I want to know where you're at and where you're headed. He said, well, you got no time. He goes, well, I'm telling you anyways. And he shared some stuff that he went through, and Sue mentioned a couple things. This guy was knocked down and knocked out. But he looked up and he goes, what do you want to do with me now? That was his prayer. And he goes, he didn't have enough money. He could have bought an island, and they could have fed him bonbons, and he rode around a little bike and been the king of the island if he wanted to. But he goes, God put me on this planet to locate ingredients and nutrition to bring it to the masses. He goes, that's my mission. And he has a talent. Tom's idea of a perfect day is to read research papers from early in the morning till late at night. That's his idea of a perfect day. I'd rather watch paint dry. I mean, that would be more exciting than have to be. That is miserable. But because he has that, and he does that, we now have it, can do, and can go, and can be, and we can make an impact in people's life with prayer and products. And so it's just a massive thing that takes place. So what he started putting together, and some of these will cross over. Some of you that knew some of the new age products and things, they'll kind of cross over a little bit. But he put some products together, and I'll kind of start with this one a little bit. This is called Spectromax. And a couple of things that's kind of neat. He has the bottles are specially treated, so the toxins a lot of plastic have toxins in them, and the stuff that's toxic in the plastic, he had these developed and made. It's kind of a funny story. He had developed and made and had them vacuumed and out. It's there's a certain process that they do to get them out. It's very rare that you ever find a bottle. Most bottles are numbered. It's a 3, it's a 5, it's a 2, it's a 1. Well, you can't have that one. They're all bad. It just means one's going to go toxic on you a little bit faster than the other. That's all the numbers mean. They're all toxic, okay? His are not. He went to the manufacturer and said, I want these bottles made a certain way, and there's a process you can do that will make them so the toxins that, because this is petroleum, and that's about as toxic as you can get. He said, so it doesn't leach into what what's the ingredients that's inside here. And he'd love to do all these in pills, but he can't get it in pill form to get on a cellular level and maximum potency, so he has to do it like he's doing it. It's just, trust me, when you see, he's got 3 major manufacturing labs. He put $100 million cash down in order to build this place. Tom's old-fashioned. He did it the old-fashioned way. Faith, he walked up to the guy and he said, can you do this for $100 million cash? The guy says, well, yeah, I can. He goes, great, let's do it then. The guy goes, good. Let me go get my lawyers and get the contracts and we'll get everything signed. He said, lawyers? He said, oh. He said, so you don't trust me? The guy goes, Tom, I've known you forever. Yeah, I trust you. Everybody trusts you. He goes, oh, okay, good. He goes, well, then you probably think that I don't trust you. He goes, well, I hope you trust me. He goes, then why do we need lawyers? He said, why don't you just look me in the eye and tell me what you're going to do. I'll look you in the eye and tell you what I'm going to do. And let's shake hands on it, and let's get it done. And they shook hands on a multi-million-dollar building and got it built, and there was no glitches, no problem, because 2 men walked in honor, 2 men walked in integrity, 2 men changed the game on how you do things now. And so it's just neat. Some of those stories, because I say that to say this, how you do anything is pretty much, honestly, how you end up doing everything. Whew, that's not fun to know. When I first discovered that, it messed my life up for a while. I had to start evaluating how I was doing just anything. And it took everything to another level, because I knew how I wanted to really do stuff. And so Tom's the same way. We're always trying to take things to another level. Sue operates with excellence. Absolute excellence. She could be tempted to move into perfection mode, but she doesn't allow that to overtake her. She operates with excellence. When she does something, she does it with as much excellence as you can. When you do things as you become a perfectionist and do it that way, people will run from you. When you do it with excellence, they run to you. They have hope that they can probably duplicate and do some of the same things. That's why a partnership with Tim and Audrey and with Dennis and Sue is just a joy for me. I mean, this is a joy. And because we think alike, we speak alike, we understand some of the same things. Well, Tom's the same way. He does things with as much excellence as he possibly can. And I'm going to show you, how affordable his products are. Everything, because how you do anything is how you do what? Everything. So affordability, just on products, the power of pricing on products. This product's kind of dear to my heart because being a farm boy from Kansas, and I told you I was raised in Kansas on a farm. I mean, I understand Kansas is like, God started creating this planet in Colorado, and then when he got done, he finished in Kansas. So I can't do better than that, and any better than that, I'm done. He finished there. I was going, woo, done. But Kansas, I mean, I understand Kansas is flat. I mean, you drop a marble on Kansas, it don't go nowhere. I mean, it's like, yeah, you drop one around hill, it rolls up hills and down stuff. And not in Kansas, man. It's fine. Matter of fact, MIT did a study on how flat a pancake was versus how flat Kansas was. And actually, Kansas is flatter when you just measure it out. It's flatter than a pancake. People used to tease it. It really is. It's pretty cool, isn't it? We're famous now. We're famous for being flatheads. All right, not fat heads. I didn't say that. No, I know what you're doing, right? I've seen your eyebrows flat around there. And so, and I tell you how flat it is. I mean, seriously, I share this with people. And Sharon, you heard this first time I talked one time, but when it's so flat that when I was 6 years old, my dog ran away. 3 days later, I could still see it running. That's flat, baby. So, a little delayed reaction, but anyway, what happens, now I say that because now we're going to get into something here, because there's some essential things that you need in your body. Essential means mandatory. It means that it's imperative for your physical survival, for everything to be operating at an optimal level, that they're in your life. So trace minerals, essential trace minerals, are essential. It really means they're imperative. You gotta have them in your life. It's not negotiable. It's just not. It's not up for debate. Do I really need those? Let me think about it. Can everything No, you need them. Okay, they're essential. This product right here, 74 essential trace minerals to the maximum potency and to the purest, the purity that you could possibly get are right here in this bottle. Okay, well, they're gone because they're empty, but a new one, they're in there. That's pretty cool. And you'll find some companies that'll give you some trace minerals, Wayne, maybe 5, 6, 7, and they'll charge you, $80, $90 for them. And they're not, they're not the potency that what we have our hands on, but you can get them. This right here, we're talking about 74 major trace minerals, essential trace minerals, right here in this. 74. Now, you understand, being a farm boy, Grandma and Grandpa, they could eat biscuits and gravy, right? And they would eat biscuits all the time, and they didn't get big like a doughboy where you stick them in the belly. Woo! I mean, they're just pretty good shape. Because back in the day, wheat used to have 40% protein in it. Now wheat's down to less than 7, 8% protein in it. No wonder we're getting chubby boy off eating wheat and all that kind of stuff. And things have changed. It's different. Topsoil used to be 3 foot of topsoil. Now we're down to 8 inches of topsoil. So the essential minerals that are supposed to come up through our fruits and vegetables, they taste the same. They've mastered where they look the same, and and everything just looks. They're not the same. I mean, iron. Here again, 60-some% iron used to be in spinach and stuff. It's not anymore. You're back down to the same numbers. 7, 8% is in spinach of iron. The rest of it's gone because it's not coming out of the ground because we're not getting the trace minerals to build the iron out. Well, you get them right here. And so then this has something really cool, because this is what got my attention. All right, it has also 40 major antioxidants in this bottle. And this is what interested me with Tom, because the first thing I asked him, I said, Tom, well, I'm pretty fired up about these OPC3s and a product like that. I said, it's done a lot of good for me because it helps with autoimmune diseases and stuff. And he goes, oh, OPCs, which stands for oligomeric parenthocyanidins, and they come with a pycnogenol that really just zaps the body and helps you overcome and get through, all kinds of challenges like allergies and so forth. And he goes, well, this bottle here, he said it has all 3 OPC3s in it, all 3 OPCs in it, in other words. And I said, what? He goes, yours has how many OPCs? And I said, well, it's OPC3, which means oligomeric parenthocyanin. And he goes, yeah, but that's just one OPC. He said, does it have, he goes, I know the company, he was baiting me a little bit. He goes, I know your company you're talking about. They only have one OPC which takes care of this variance or this list of problems. He goes, in this we have that one. He goes, then over here we have another OPC that takes care of this list of problems, and then we have another one that takes care of this list of problems, plus we have 2 pycnogenals in it, and we put all that together, and we only call it one antioxidant. And the other company was selling their big, huge deal for like $70, and and Tom had all 3, and so it's crazy. So let's finish about the power of the pricing. If you were going to try to heal somebody up of cancer, one of the things you'd want to do, there's a lot of books on it, is it's called the color chart. And so you would go to a farmer's market and you'd buy every fruit and every vegetable that had a little bit of variance in coloration, and you would take that home and you would snag a little slice of it, and you'd have a slice of every fruit and every vegetable that particular day. Would give you a pretty good chance of having a battle and maybe possibly winning the battle against some cancers. Well, in here, this has 40 major antioxidants. It has every variance of every fruit and every vegetable, and on the color chart, it has every single thing on the color chart when it comes to the different colorings of antioxidants that needs to help you to have a fighting chance against something that's going to tear your cells to pieces. This is a big deal. So it has 74 major trace minerals. It has 40 major antioxidants. And I mean major, I'm talking about major. Wait till you do your research. This is a blast. When you do your research, what we got, because you're not going to what? Trust us, you're going to do what? Test us. If I'm going to drive from Denver to share this with you, you can at least drive home and do some research. Hello! Somebody slapped me. Okay. Just checking. And Sue's done some research. And some of it, she trusted some of the research I've done, and we flip it to people, so we can get you what we call a starter email, so it helps you just kind of get some of the research going really, really fast. And so this, in the pricing of this, if you was try to, and this has a little bit of a multi-level effect in it with some, folic acids and things like that as well in it. But if you want to try to replace this bottle, you'll get stuff that has maybe 3 or 4 antioxidants and 5 or 6 trace minerals. Cost you over $200 and some dollars. And this, and I don't, yeah, $60, something like that. I can't remember all the numbers. $60. I mean, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And once you get saturated with this, you're supposed to take 3/4 of an ounce a day. If you're sick and you're fighting some cancer stuff, you'll want to double, triple up on this, okay? And just per day, and take 1/4 of an ounce just multiple times as well, along with another product called Ficoid, which we'll get into in just a minute. But with that said, once you get healthy and you saturate your body, you could use 1/4 of an ounce a day. This bottle could last you 90 days. It could last you 1 month. If you're sick, it could last you 2 weeks. What's going on in your body? Whole lot cheaper than what your deductible is for your insurance. Hello?
That's right.
I mean, it's gone down. Deductible. I mean, I understand insurance-wise things have changed. And if you haven't noticed, you will. They've changed. And so there's a lot of people who haven't paid 20, 30% on deductible. Doing this is a lot cheaper than if you had a $100,000 surgery of some sort and you're paying $20,000. You can get a lot of Spectramax for $20,000. Okay, I thought that was kind of cool. But maybe you put that up. So that's the power of pricing. This is the power of the purity of what he does. And this product here is called Eternity, kind of like the name of it. This is like, anti-eternity and then eternity. What's neat about this product is it's resveratrol. It's a certain grape seed and grape skin that comes off of a certain grape, and a lot of the people in France, this particular grape, which you hardly won't find it here in the United States or even a wine that has it in it. If you did and you drank that wine, you're going to get some medicinal therapeutic help with it, just a little bit of medicinal help, not necessarily therapeutic. But with this is equivalent to 70 or 274 glasses of that wine in one dose. This is one power-packed, punched product. I mean, you talk about something that is this wakens what they call the youth gene that's in your body. Can you remember what that gene's called? Say it again. Sarah who? Sirtuin. That's why he's along. He's a tech. All right. He's the brains. All right. Sirtuin. It's got the Sirtuin gene. It'll just like woohoo, light your shucks. I don't care how wet your wood is. This is going to get it lit. This will wake you up. It just flat get you going. Wayne, you're gonna love this. The youth gene is, and sorry, I'm gonna talk to this side over here. Wayne's about ready to throw something. He's actually grinning. You take a couple bottles, all right? And so it wakens up the youth gene in your body. It just absolutely makes you come alive. So here's what happens. And we're talking about the purity of the product. This product is one of Tom's babies. It's one of his favorite products that he's put together because of the complexity of it and the results that it has. And so how this product is built, this has a couple things. It has nanotechnology in it. Have you ever heard of someone, Faith, that's had a heart attack and they throw a nitro pill under their tongue? Have you ever heard of that? And that nitro pill kind of like lights up the heart and stops it from just, contracting. It's kind of like you'd have a, cramp in your calf, you have one in your heart. It stops it from cramping and so that's what a nitro pill will do. This has nanotechnology. You put this in and let it soak and set under your tongue. And what's funny about Dallas is he was doing all three, so that's kind of fun. But let it soak under your tongue, and then for about 67 seconds if you're healthy. If you're not feeling good and you're sick, you're going to do it, 3 minutes or so. Just let it sit under there and just let it drop and drip and go medicate the heart and the cardiovascular system. This is another one of these game changer products that's out there. Now, how Tom builds this product. There's two things that can contaminate the grape in this. Number one is oxygen. Number two is light. All right. So Tom has this built in the dark. Hydrogen's put into it, and which pushes out all the oxygen. Then he fills it with the ingredients in the dark, so that it's not exposed to the light. It has zero oxygen in it until you open it. This is not one of these you want to open it up and just kind of like, I'll tighten the lid someday, no. Do it, pour it, back on. If you're doing another dose, put the lid back on in between, and and then hammer the product as quick as you possibly can. Another one of these things, if you're sick, you might want to do a quarter of an ounce, 3 times a day and just soak. If you're fighting some cancer challenges, you may want to do 4 or 5 doses a day. Just kind of see what's going on, and we ease people into stuff because you will go through some detoxes with this, and that's part of it. So this product shows you, just the purity of how he develops all this stuff. I mean, we have stuff that has pill form in it. When you go and you get to see the plant, and here again, I'm really, really inviting you to go, in case you guys didn't hear me over here. All right, inviting you to be there, and Dale, don't look at them. You're on the list, and you ain't getting off that list, brother. Because once you go through and realize that when Tom fills the pills and the air that's inside the pills, he's got it down to a science, because he's what? Science guy, to the exact kind of air, the density. He can make the air have more moisture, less moisture. He can make it heavier, thicker. What he does is just the purity of the air, where everything is bottled and put together, is going to blow you away. Every ingredient that's brought into the manufacturing plant is quarantined until they come and test it. And it has to hit the specifications that they require where they bought the ingredient from, and the supplier that's bringing the ingredient to them. If it doesn't hit it, they send it back. So I'm going through the plant. I'm sitting there with Aaron Renner. And I said, Aaron, do you ever have to send any things back? He goes, well, DW, that's really kind of an interesting question. He goes, last year, 2014, we sent back over $260,000 worth of product. And when we called the supplier and we told them that, hey, this is not even coming close to meeting our standards and not what we're in agreement on, and we called them, they said, well, don't send it here, send it to XYZ company because they do not care about their quality. And I know people that's involved in some of those XYZ deals. And I'm telling you, Tom is hypersensitive, picky. This is his baby. This is how we roll. And how we roll is the purity of our products. And so that shows you this. So we got the power pricing, the power of the purity, and this is just the power puncher, the Facoid. Absolutely amazing, 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 amazing on the Facoid. This is, some people call it liquid gold, all right? It's whatever, but this is and we was talking about those guys yesterday. This is when that doc called yesterday, and he wanted 6 more bottles because he has 6 cancer patients. When someone walks in his room and they have a cancer patient, this is the first thing he gets them on, like immediately. And let me tell you why. This is antibacterial, antifungal. This helps with inflammation that's in your body. One of the #1 things that doctors treat people for on a daily basis. If they can get everyone's inflammation down, they got a happy camper walking out that door. If they can help them with their memory and their brain, they got a happy camper walking out that door. If they can strengthen their bones, they got a happy camper walking out the door. How many people you've heard about in life that fell, broke their hip, went to the hospital, and 2 months later are gone? It happens way more than it should. Because bones are looking like Swiss cheese with big holes bigger than this in them, and your bones aren't meant to do that. They're not meant to start even thinking about getting brittle until you're over 100. And yet we got people that just are, having challenges. Well, this has also the same principle of the same properties as mother's milk. And so this gives you a blast of blast your immune system with the capabilities to fight things off. This is humongous. And it's a product that the Japanese love it a lot. So and so that's part of the way even how Tom spells it. Because when he started SISEL Company, he started over in Japan. Had a lot of contacts there and just took off like crazy. So he spent the first few years just there in Japan before he opened it up here. And when he opened up here, it was about the time Joe and I jumped on board, and we've just seen an explosion. And here's why: because we put on the brakes, we pull over, and we sit down, and we look you in the eyes, and we tell you the truth, and we honor your opinion and your experience, where you've come from. A lot of you are just like me. You're in resistance. Who wants to do another deal? Nobody. Nobody. But who wants to make an impact in your life and someone else's? Every one of us. Okay? And this is what we're seeing happen. And we talked with Sue about what we're doing here for a couple of years. And when she was ready, she got ready. And it wasn't that she was, I don't know if she was in resistance, I don't know where you was, but we just loved you, never asked you. I just know you're here right now. And you're looking marvelous. Okay. FCOID, whack him. Seriously, could whack Mac every chance you get. Okay.
Thank you, friend.
Yeah. You feel the love now, brother. This is, we can go on and on and on about story after story after story with what's happened with our products. We've seen some phenomenal things happen. We've seen people that are just doing something. Do we want to share a little bit about Dallas today?
Oh, yeah. I was going to
Okay.
he wanted to be on the phone tonight, and I can't. I'm watching.
Okay, you can't get him on the
You have
phone?
his number?
Well, sure I do.
I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
this guy, why you try to do that, this guy called me today, he's from California, and he's in his 15th year of Parkinson's disease. And he used to be a great networker and a businessman, and I think his wife teaches something at the Christian college there. But anyway, he's been on our products for about a month, got the water machine, and he called this morning along with his sponsor Jan from Cincinnati, and he had gone to a meeting last night with his wife for the school and forgot to take his Parkinson's medicine. And that's really dangerous for him because he has the bobbing head and just can't control it. And it frightened him when he got there, realized he didn't have his medicine. And he said, Sue, he says, I was amazed. He says, I was controlling my head for the first time in ever how long. And then when he thought, well, that's just happenstance. So he went home, did his thing. He did the same thing this morning. He just was like crying over the phone. He said, number one, he said, it's so embarrassing when you have a disease like this because you feel like you have to explain it to everybody. You can't. He goes on and on. But he said, these products have totally changed my life. And he is like building a business now because he feels like now he's like the evangelist for SISEL because it was something that serious that had gone into that stage. And I said, would you mind sharing that tonight? But DW has been on, I'm telling you, you don't have to know what DW knows right now. I use him and abuse him and all my other people do. Just get him on the phone with your people that you want to help.
If you want to really, really bug me, don't bug me. Think about that for a minute.
But he is wound tight.
Well, it's just, when he called yesterday, he called a couple times, so I knew, man, I better get home right away. I was in tears time he got done, and one of the things that was bothering him is that he'd left, he was out and about, he couldn't get to his medicine. And he'd taken the Triangle of Life, it's one of the things he's on, we've got a body shield, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. And he was out of the product, so he was like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna fall apart, because when he's out of the products, he doesn't just shake like this, it is bad. He goes way out of control. And it's embarrassing, and it's like Sue's talking about, and he said, how much time? He goes, usually after 30 minutes that I don't take my traditional meds, I am out of control. An hour, I am like, whew, it is beyond what you can imagine bad. And then he goes, and he was a long time before he got back, and he said just the hands were just doing like like a normal Parkinson's person would do, and not the head bobbling and all that stuff going on. He goes, then when I wake up in the morning, he goes, my eyes, it's kind of Bell palsy is what he'll go through in the mornings. It's like the sun hits you in your eye and everything just kind of like drops down, and you try to get it and mash it back up and get it opened again. And he's had 2 days in a row where he's had no eye challenges. And he's getting better sleep at night. And so when you start sleeping at night, what does that usually indicate? You're healing. Your body's starting to heal up a little bit. When you're not sleeping, something's going on. You know, your body's having some challenges. So we'll try him a couple times, and I'll let Anthony just have the phone here, and if you get him, just bring him on up and just get that. And if he answers, cool. You can shoot him a text, and I think that's his text number. So
I can get
the
him on
products
speaker,
here,
too.
the Triangle of Life is probably some of the first stuff that we get people started on to help them get healthy. But we also have issue-specific challenges that people are going through, and we're seeing some things happen. I don't know how soon, because we can't promise and all this kind of stuff. Is he here? All right. Hey, superstar DW here. How you doing, brother?
I'm here.
Hey.
I'm on my end. Let me ask if I can get back.
Yeah. Well, I've got you. Can you talk right now, or do you want me to call you back?
Well, I just long enough to get rid of my other side of it. I don't know if you're ready.
Okay, I'll call you right back then.
Stay with me.
I'll stay with him, don't hang him.
Oh, he's gone. No, I'm teasing. He's on you.
I want to say something, when going back to the chemicals in our personal care and hair care. One of the things that they're seeing now is these new mothers, they're finding over 200 and some chemicals in the umbilical cord that the mother has, that she's transferring to that child already. Then she starts breastfeeding the child, there goes more chemicals into his system, and then we wonder why all these allergies, all this asthma, all this stuff, and we keep trying to figure it out, and it's so simple. I mean, you know, people like us in this room can understand that much, and the
Yeah.
doctors can't.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I sure can now.
Well, we got you on a speakerphone, which is kind of crickety, and there's a bunch of people here. Are you feeling some positive things happening in your life since you started with the Triangle? Okay, first of all, when I first talked to him, he couldn't understand it.
Let me respond to it very quickly. That was one of the exciting things. As you know, I told you I spent a lot of money trying to find something in the nutritional way of handling the Parkinson's. And hold on just a second. Oh, it's come on. Hi. I'm coming, so I'll get in. Okay, I'm back.
Okay, you gotta turn mission control signals all off for about 2 minutes. You got people calling everywhere. Want to know what are you doing? Because they can understand it. They can talk. Hey, waiting on you.
So anyway, I had a lot of money. In fact, I just handed you the just another $300. And it was nutritional. It would help me just dealing with Parkinson's. And nothing has really given me any kind of result. But this, I had a way to get back to my travel
Maybe some server signal issues.
5 days, and I think in 5 days, because I missed that one Sunday night. And
It's gone 5 days.
Monday, all of a sudden, I was with my wife at the university for a couple pounds, and I realized I left my meds at home. And I've been dealing with condition as people are real good at involuntary movement of the head flopping around. And that was the precursor to the tremor setting in. If you get right out of your, with different, effects of the meds. All of a sudden, I realized I didn't have the meds, and then this condition didn't start. And I looked at Judy and I said, hey, this thing's working. And so then, later, no tremors. And then a little tiny bit, there was a discernible thing more from less to others. And that's pretty exciting because I was on like 5, 6 hours before I got back to my meds. Normally 4 hours actually. And then on cinnamon and one of the, I forgot the name of it. Anyway, that was it. The next morning, I got up on Tuesday morning and I want to go to the call that Sue puts on. And so I took the Foucault
3/4 of an ounce.
In my mouth, each one, and just holding it. And, I went like 6 hours before I needed the med. And that's exciting for me.
6 hours for needed meds.
I didn't take 25 milligrams that are time release and one that is not time release. And to go that long and add time to it, it's exciting. So.
That's awesome, brother.
I've been taking the B360, and I think the brain vitality.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure that was a lifetime right. So there's some coming in now that this is what I've been taking. So the brain vitality and the 360 and the triangle.
Well, I tell you what, brother, we will talk to you later. You got some people here that got to hear you. They'll throw some prayers up for you. You know, you need the prayer, they need to practice, so it's going to be a win-win there. Hey, we love you, buddy. We'll talk to you later, okay? You want to talk about the eyes? And so it's just eyes would just everything is just would fall down, and you'd have to push them back up and wait until meds kick in so we could just, it's like your skin, everything just collapses, you know, and it's like a Bell palsy, and those challenges are going away. Now, when you got Parkinson's, you got to kind of understand some things. I've been doing research and jumped in. Parkinson's, part of it can come from the stomach, or it can come from the nerves that are damaged in the heart, or it can come from the brain. And some people will have two different areas that they're having challenges from. Some have one, and we feel like Dale, based on what we've been just kind of researching, he's got all three challenges coming from all three areas. And so we have things that can go in there, and we have one product, I'm not sure if we have it here tonight, but it's called Heartify. And we also have another product called Omega Plus, which has coenzyme Q10. The Heartify is a specific, even powerful coenzyme Q10 that's in our Omega Plus. Omega Plus is the one that has the fish oils. How many's heard of the fish oils out there? And you've heard of Omega 3s. Well, we got the Omega 3s, the 6, the 7, the 9s, the 5. Tom has them all. I mean, he just blasts you with some of the best, you know, fish oils you can get your hands on. And that product used to cost us like $55. And then he had a product that was just called Coenzyme Q10, and that was another $40 product or whatever. He put both of them together for about $55. We get both of them now, so that it would help us money-wise with our budgets and stuff, and so people could at least get some Coenzyme Q10. Just like when I'm talking here right now, my daughter just texted me as I was going over to Dell, and I texted her back real quick while we was yakking. She goes, "Do we have anything that has probiotics in it?" And you know, and so she just has a brand new baby that's just about a week old now, maybe a week and a couple days old. And she just having some stomach challenges and things, and so what can we do? And we do. We got a balanced D that's got prebiotics and probiotics. That's one of the things we help him with. He's not on it yet, but he will be soon. That will help him with his Parkinson's. Going there, and gut health is huge.
Yes,
your
it
digestive tract is
Yes, it
huge.
is.
And a lot of
Yes, it
problems
is.
come from that. And I'm just telling you, and I get into it, and I talk about this. If the eliminator's not eliminating, you're in some serious trouble. And Sharon, you remember me talking about that the first time? It wasn't a pleasant subject. And most people probably wish I'd skip it, but I won't. But who here in this room would only flush your toilet once a week? Think about it. I mean, seriously, no takers? Just checking? Nobody? Wayne? No one. All right. How about flush your toilet in your home maybe twice a week? Still no takers? You know? How about 3 times a week? Or 4? We got people that they're eliminating only once a week. That's like having an internal toilet. Your internal toilet is to flush and eliminate what's in your body 45 to 30 minutes after you eat a decent meal.
Right.
Okay, if you have a slow colon, it'll be a larger amount once a day. That would be the max. And if you're not doing that, you have a problem. If you don't, you soon will. All right.
Yep.
So so the gut health is a big deal. And one of the things we do for the gut health is a bottle up here, and I'll just show you one of these. It's just identical to this bottle. This is Influence. This is like, wow, awesome stuff for fighting the flu. But it's called Super Detox, and you'll take that. Now, if you're going through liver challenges and kidney problems, you might want to stay on it for a little bit longer. But every time there's the change of the season, go through a super detox. And it cleanses and gets you to the gut health, gets you going. Then once you're done with that, we come in and throw another product at you called called Balance D. That's what I just texted Danielle, and I said it's also in Sizzling as well. And just right here, I said yes, just boom, real quick. And so it's kind of fun how a lot of times sometimes your questions, shoot me a text. If it's too long, I'll just call you and help you. You know, like yeah, we spent some time talking about stuff and kind of listen to what's going on. And these in the background just probably shake their head about us every once in a while. Like I don't do it, them boys. But you know, just helping them get a grip on some challenges that they're going through. And this is something Dallas and I had a talk with. I said, Dallas, don't take ownership of Parkinson's. Don't say it's I have or it's my Parkinson's. Say you're challenged with. And you're not to take ownership of that stuff. It is not supposed to be in your system.
That's right.
It does
That's
not
right.
belong there. It doesn't need to have residence there. In other words, we're going to give it an eviction notice. Are you kidding me? And so that's how I just think. And that'll come about, and I'll share at the end why I think that way and where we're at. So getting the eliminator eliminating is one of the huge things you need to do. The super detox is going to help. The Balance D is going to have some magnesium and vitamin D in it. And it's also going to have prebiotics and probiotics, which is going to come into your system, and it's going to clean out all the bad bacteria, but then it replaces it with the good bacteria that you need in your system so you can start digesting things really, 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 really well. Then we want you to try to master at some point in your life how to eat a little bit cleaner. I've not done that for 2 or 3 days now, okay? So I'll go home and blast the super detox or something, and we'll get things back in. Sometimes you're on the road, even if you try, you just don't. And I'm a bad influence on Joe King, so we're we're horrible, brother, when we're on the road. And we're not eating McDonald's. Anthony will not pull over to one of those, so we're going places where we can get salads and stuff, but you still don't eat quite as clean. But however, so you'll go through times like that. And so the gut health is very, 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 very important. The products here are going to help with this. This is a mild detox for the kidney and for the liver. And so when I look at someone, I don't look at someone and go, man, you need to lose a bunch of weight. People don't need to lose weight, they need to get healthy. When you get healthy, the weight starts falling off. I've lost like 35 or 40 pounds just simply because I started getting healthier. I went through some challenges a year or so ago, and we'll share that with you. And so that's one of the things. Another thing that Tom put together that is massively imperative that Dallas is going to be on real soon as well is a product called Body Shield. This is a life force and gives life to the body, and it shields it, but it also does something very spectacular. It removes and grabs the heavy metals that are in the body and it escorts them out of the body. It grabs a hold of the plaque that's on the brain and doesn't dump it somewhere else in your body. It escorts it out of the body. We have a product that goes along with this. It's called Brain Vitality. So if you ever walk into a room and you went, what am I in here for? You walked into a closet and said, what was I going to get? Dale, what was I after? I mean, kind of reminds me of that story as this couple sitting on the porch and they're out there just kind of talking a little bit, and yammering, and he goes, well, I think I'm going to go to town and get us some ice cream. She says, well, honey, that would be so sweet if you go get us some ice cream. Make sure that when you get mine, you put chocolate syrup all over the top of it. Vanilla with chocolate syrup. That's all I want. And he goes, I'll be back. He came back and he had 2 big old hot dogs on there. And she grabbed them hot dogs and she looked at him and she goes, well, I told you I wanted extra mustard. What's the matter with you? All right? You might need some brain vitality. So when it comes to brain health, all right, one of the things that's going to help you is a couple things. Just jot this down. We have a product called Encompass 360, which is, I don't like to use these terminologies, but it's like multivitamin on steroids, because we don't like steroids. But I'm just trying to say it is one massive multivitamin. It is the bomb diddly bomb of multivitamins. And
Make your hair grow.
it will make your hair grow. It'll make your nails grow. And you can look at your nails and you can look at your hair, and I can tell you where you are health-wise as far as like how it's growing and the whole 9 yards. And so I called my dad one day and I said, Dad, and my dad's, he just has little white walls, all right? That's it, all you got, all right? Just, you guys in here, you got way more hair than Dad does. And I called him one day and I said, Dad, my hair's starting to turn gray. And then he says, son, as long as it ain't turning loose, you're doing just fine. Just a mess, all right? But it will get your hair grown. We got a whole system that helps people grow hair. If that's something that you want to focus on. So it's 360 for the brain, 360. Eternity helps the brain as well, all right? And then we have another product that that's called it's called Omega Plus, all right? That helps the brain, and then brain vitality. Those 4 things, that's for your brain health. They also help a lot of other things as well. But when I'm specifically, and this is here again, go back to my dad. Grandma, the last 2 years of her life, Grandma Whited, she struggled with Alzheimer's, and then she passed on. And it's just what happened. Now with my granddad, he was close to Jesus. He loved the Lord. He came in one day, a month before he turned 90 years old. He looks at my sister and said, I love you so much, and make sure everybody knows it, but this is on a Wednesday. He said, Sunday afternoon, I'm going to go be with Jesus. That's just what's going to happen. He laid down Sunday afternoon, he took a nap, big smile on his face, went right on. That's kind of a good walk, you know what I mean? You're walking that close to where, and he, when he got saved, man. He was going to be like, whoo, wow. He got radically moved forward. So those are some of the things. So Grandma went through some Alzheimer's, so Dad's been kind of careful about that. And he's, in one of the products, he goes, I got to have the Eternity. And he goes, and I really want that in Compass 360. You want to? Is that brilliant?
That's good.
We're having fun. You got to have fun. Sorry, that's on video. Everything's being taped nowadays, And so, and he takes a product. He goes, I got to have the Compass 360. Well, I never did tell him, Dad, you need these certain products. But his body started craving some of those products. And he felt like just a number of ways, because he's just really, really sharp as attack. And he just felt like he was slipping on some of the numbers. And man, everything is back sharp. Man, he is just fired on all cylinders, exciting. Brain Vitality is a unique product. It was developed for our Japanese buddies. When the tsunami hit there, and it messed with their nuclear plant, and radiation was leaking everywhere, they called Thompson, man, our people are dying, they're getting sick, that's horrible, what's going on? He came back here. We have somewhere between 13 and 18 scientists on staff full-time at any time. Some are come in and they work on a project for a couple of years, and they go to another place and work on it. So it depends on what we're doing, who's in and who's out. But so he put all hands on deck and built this product right here called Body Shield. And he built it to grab a hold of that radiation, those heavy metals, and to get them out of the body, not knowing that the impact it would actually make on people. And so this is one of those products that give you life. It shields your body, gets rid of the heavy metals. It's one of the products we use a lot when people are going through Lyme disease and some major challenges. If you're fighting cancers and stuff, this is another product you want to get your hands on, because they've thrown all kinds of drugs and junk at you, and full of heavy metals. So it's just another one of those game changers. Oh, here's all the stuff. And here's the Brain Vitality that we're talking about, and here's the Omega Plus that we're referring to right here. And this product has the fish oils in it, but there will be no regurgitation of fish oils. You're safe. I've never had one person go, I have a problem. And Tom goes, well, there's a reason I have a problem. They're using cheapo stuff and this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, they'll tell you to freeze it and yada, yada, yada. And he goes, it's just, he went through it all. But the Omega Plus is phenomenal, but it also has coenzyme Q10 in it. So to help with the heart and blood pressures and things like that, you're going to use the Heartify. And we got Sharon that is just had open heart surgery. It's okay to share with everyone because I just did. And
disclaimer.
That's it. Disclaimer. Well, seriously, I mean, if you didn't know she went through that, the woman's looking marvelous. I mean, you would just not know it. But she is. Yeah. We don't. Knock him out. We have nothing for that, okay? And but she's battling some things, and so we'll have a conversation next day or so as well. And so sometimes maybe what we're doing is not going to take hold right now because your body's massively. She's got bones that are trying to grow back together. I mean, think about that. So the calcium K2 is imperative for her to have. And we can send you a little video where Tom's talking about the triangle of life. He's talking about the Ficoidin. He's a science guy. I'm just going to share with you some stuff that's taken place and happened. And so, we still got some work to do here, and everybody's body's different. Tom thinks that he can walk up and everybody can just 100% diagnose. We don't know what you think your body needs healed of, and what it's working on, where it's going around and grabbing the cortisol in your body. And just think of your body when you go to sleep at night as you're laying down and there's a conveyor belt going up and down all through your body, and it has these little bitty cups on it, and they swoosh in and try to grab some nutrition, and then they'll take it to wherever the most damage is first, or wherever the brain is signaling for it to get healed up and healthy. And so you might be going through a challenge you don't even know. You know, you're going through migraines, you're having challenges like that, you got high blood pressure. We got stuff that's going to assist you and help you maneuver through some of those challenges. So it's pretty powerful. So I cannot wait until we get to hear how everything has helped you. I can't wait. And she's got faith, and we're on it. You know, Sue said yesterday that, you know, I was shocked to see her tonight, just based on what she was saying you've been through. You're a trooper, and we love troopers, all right? Yeah. And so, but it doesn't mean you're not challenged. Doesn't mean you don't have to go through some stuff yet. So but we're there. We're just there. We're a family. We're a team. We'll do the best we can with what we got, where we're at, and that's all we can do. And so now you pop into a couple other things. Here's the Encompass 360. You got stuff going on. Here's Energy for him, and they got an Energy for her. For the guys, this is massive. This is huge. This helps with the brain, helps with the heart, helps with the prostate. That's what this is designed for. Those three specific areas. And so this is big. You're going through challenge in any one of those areas. This may be something you want to double, triple up on for just a little bit. And then once you get the areas under control, then you back off and go into maintenance dosage of it. They got an Energy for her. And it is humongous. We have another product called Ultramax that I just got a phone call for someone who's, matter of fact, it's Dallas's daughter-in-law, has got really, she's got, I think it's chronic fibromyalgia or lupus, going through lupus. And that's an autoimmune disease. We can help her with that, like, right now. I mean, that used to be a biggie. It's not as big as what it was because of what we have our hands on. Here's a product it's called Ultramax, and it's kind of the side effect. It's a little bit of an energy drink. If you're irritated and you want to kill someone and enjoy doing it, and got road rage, you know, which you haven't had any yet, but we could have a time or two. It just boom.
From Boston.
Yeah. Oh well, this is nothing compared to Boston. That's road rage. They had over 10 foot of snow with records last year, right where he lived. Are you kidding me? They just got dug out last week. and it's going to snow. It's going to snow next week, all right? Denver's getting snow in the morning, and I'm out here with y'all. See you guys. Okay, so it's like if you don't like snow, don't live in the mountains. I mean, come on. It's just like, you know. But what's neat about this product is if you're irritated, it relaxes you. If you have a blanket day to where you're depressed, and you want to just crawl under it and just like disappear, it lifts you up out of that blanket. Okay? This puts you in a happy zone. I call it the happy vitamin. But this is jammed. B12s, B6, B5s, it's, you know, be awesome. It's got amino acids, everything. If you're going through chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, lupus, and some of those things, you're going to take about a third of a bottle a day. If you just have a day where you need an energy, you just slam one. It'll give you a niacin rush, which is one of the best detoxes you can have of your system. It'll turn your ears and face red. You'll feel heat coming up in there. So I have someone say, wow, thank you, your products really work. Oh yeah, Mr. Smarty Pants, here, just slam this real quick, will you? Come on, tough guy. And they do that and their face goes whoosh, like, hey, Tom does have some stuff, you know. It's a no-brainer, you know. And if someone's real mean and arrogant and just rude, I'll give it to them right before they leave the house and have them drink it. They'll be up all night. Paybacks are rough. No, I don't do that. I'm just teasing. Just teasing. Don't do that, all right? And so calcium K2. We can't get into everything. And the Energy for her is awesome. Tom has been working on quite a bit. He's been working on the skincare line. Skincare line is the bomb diddly bomb. Here is one of the little components that's in it, and it's called Transfusium. You'll go through it, and a lot of these department stores and places and skincare people, this is nutrition for the skin. This isn't about just slamming and getting rid of wrinkles. This is not about using that stuff that's got that that wheat in it that numbs your body to where blood rushes to repair the numbness that it's caused. In other words, it's, and then you think you're actually getting rid of your wrinkles, and you will for 1, 2, 3 years. Then all of a sudden your face blows up with not wrinkles but ruts, and you're wondering what's wrong there. You know, it's it's just, we call them furrows back home. You know, and but this has 24 actives in it. A lot of products will have 1 or 2 actives, and the percentage of actives that's in that active, a lot of them is like 5%, 4%, maybe 10%. This is maximum amount of 24 actives. Tom put this together. He had 19 actives in it, never been heard of in the industry, and they were all excited about it. And his daughter Lisa was one of the kind of the chief engineers of the product. All right, Dad, you're done. All right, let's get it out to the team. Everybody wants it. They're ready for it. He goes, okay, launch. And then, that evening, he goes to a basketball game, and he's sitting and he goes, oh, Lisa, text everyone, cancel the launch. I've thought of 2 more things we got to put in it. So he took it to 21 actives. And this is after he took it from 14 to 15 to 19, now to 21. And so she's like, woohoo, we're ready to go now. He's really done. Dad's done. No. He went ahead and took it to 22, and then stopped the presses on 23, and then changed the labels on 24 actives, and had to redo labeling and everything just to put this product out. And is this powerful? Let me tell you something. If you don't like the results, and you got to be at least 40 years old, you got to take before and after pictures. There's some rules he wants to prove it. You don't like the results that you're getting, you're going to get your money back on this product. I think it's what, a 30-day deal, or is it 30 days? And I don't know of anyone that's had to ask for their money back yet, because they're liking the results that they're getting it. And so it's just, but it's part of an entire skincare system. Who here would go and what's that brush you use to put stuff as eyeliner? Mascara, okay. Who would dip that down into some brake fluid and go, okay, man. Who would do that? Dip your mascara brush down into brake fluid and put it on your eyes. Who would do that? Probably everyone in this room, because that's probably what you've been doing every day and you didn't even know it.
All the women.
All the gals. Nowadays, it's not just the gals anymore.
Oh, no.
Not just the gals
Spill.
anymore. No worries. Okay. And I just remember one time my boys were having fun, and don't be offended by this, I just had fun with them. They walked up and said, Dad, what would you think if we got us earrings? And they're like 14, 15. They're just giving me a hard time. I mean, literally, they're giving me a hard time. And I said, I don't know, son. I said, I'd hate to get up and not have to make that decision. Whose earrings do I put on, mine or my mommy's? And they went, I got it, Dad. Okay, cool. But that offended someone. Erase that back. Okay. So the skincare is another one of those game changers that Tom's put together. But we have a 3D mascara. That the mascara all by itself, standalone, is phenomenal. But they got the 3D lash thing that makes the lashes just go boom, out like that. That is the bomb diddly. And who would sit there and then say, after you dip the whatever mascara thing in it, who would go and slam all the? Who would want to go and take it and then just coat it with a bunch of antifreeze? Nobody. All right. My son-in-law took me serious. The one that's sharp as a tack, not the one that's sharp as a bowling ball. And he took me serious, and he went and looked up, and he goes, oh my goodness. He looked at product after product that Daisha Jean was using. And he said to me, Dad, that's antifreeze. Everybody knows that's antifreeze. And I said, well, not everybody. And he goes, well, how could they not know it? I said, don't know. I said, but you're going to tell them. And it's antifreeze is in so many of the cosmetics, so many of the products. Well, did you realize people use antifreeze, I don't even get into it, but if you digested a bunch of it, it is so poisonous and so toxic, I don't know how to say this, but your whole insides would come out. That's all I can tell you. And I didn't, it's just crazy. And yet we're putting it on our skin and we're wondering, well, why do we have migraines? Why do we have this? So we got to put the brakes on stuff, and just stop putting the toxins on the body. We got a lot that we can get into and a lot of stories that we can share. But is it okay if we kind of close with this and take questions? Or if there's something else you want me to get into, maybe a little bit on the coffee and things, say a couple things there? Or?
Whatever you want.
Okay, all right.
Maybe touch on the sizzling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sizzling tea. Okay, cool. One thing we just love, love, is, and we use quite a bit of this, This is designed to help you build muscles. And Tom uses whey protein. There's a lot of protein shakes out there that use soy. By the way, if you find anything with soy in it, get your fastest pair of tennis shoes on and run as far away from it as you can. I mean, I remember being a farm boy and the government's come around knocking on everyone's door and they wanted everybody, they're going to give you money to grow soybeans. And as soon as that happened, and I was 17 years old, I went, if they're doing that, something's up that nobody knows about, and I guarantee it's not good. Because when do they know anything about farming? Okay? They just don't. They don't know zip dilly about it. And so, but with that said, you know, now we find out what soy does. I mean, bottom line, it works in your body to where it's in almost all the baby foods and stuff. It makes little guys more girly. It makes girls more guily. You know, it makes them more, you know, whatever. Okay? Am I getting in trouble again? Okay. Yeah, he's right. And don't shut him down. We need more. You know, I think it's politically incorrect to be politically correct anymore, right? I think people just need to tell the truth. And not be mean about it, just tell the truth. Sizzling's a product that it's huge. It literally has the ability to go in and extract and grab the gristle out of the muscle. The muscle is one of the things, not the only thing, it's one of the things that help dictate metabolism. Fabuloso, and this is one of the things where I lost a lot of weight on, was just this product right here. And just using this for lunch. And so those people that are sugar sensitive and diabetics, our fire and iced tea that we have is one thing's going to help you. Sizzling's going to be another game changer. The Triangle of Life in small doses 3 times a day instead of large doses at once. Those of you that aren't sleeping well and you're having inflammation trouble, hit an extra ½ ounce of this before you go to sleep at night, and it's going to make a difference. The Sizzling comes in and it begins to feed the muscles. The nutritional value, and Joe may have a little thing that he'll show you later with all the stuff that's in it, but the nutritional value that's in this product right here is off the charts crazy good. You say, how do you know? I'm glad you asked. One of my buddies, her name is Joni, and Joni and I went to high school together. We're best buds, and our families were just good families in church and the whole bit, so known Joni for a million years. And she had an uncle that everyone was real close to, and he died early of cancer. And then she had her brother, he died early of cancer. And then she calls me, and she says, Daniel, she says, Tyler, my son, he's got cancer, just like my uncle had, just like my brother had. She goes, I'm so scared. And I said, well, I understand. And I said, but, you know, I said, God's going to meet you right there in the middle of your fear on this one. And she goes, I don't know what to do. So we reached out to him, and he withdrew from her, the family, and everybody, kind of like a wounded dog. He started to take this on my own, went to somebody else and hung out with them and tried to get through it. They took him through radiation and chemo and everything. And he ignored all the products and all the stuff that we knew to do. He ignored it all and went the chemical route. And so he came back, and she goes, we got to take him in for a 6-month checkup, and he wants to be back in his life now to help him with nutrition and get healthy. She goes, the doctor walks in and said, we've looked at all of his glands, looked at everything. He's got, everything is 100% good except one is really bad. So it looks like we're going to have to start chemo and everything over again. He goes, Mom, what can we do? And the doctor says, well, one thing we need to do right now, today, he's got to be on a protein drink immediately. The nutrition of his muscles, his joints, his bones, his everything is depleted. It's gone. We got to get him on protein right now, or this guy is a walking dead man. He's just going to go. Calls me up. She says, what do we do? And I said, well, tell her about Sizzling. Well, this is one of the neurosurgeons of KU Medical Center. So she goes, well, see if this protein drink will meet your standards. So the doc went back, did all the research, sent some things over, did all that stuff. Came back to her and said, where'd you get this stuff? She said, we've been 20 years trying to find something half as good as what you got your hands on. This is crazy. We didn't even think anything like this on the planet ever existed. And of course, we overnighted him some stuff like, boom, right? I said, Joni, I got it, don't worry about it. Well, you know how we did. And we just got him some stuff immediately. And now he's doing her stuff, and everything is right on top of things. And so it rebuilds the body. It helps with clarity. It's got enough protein, and it's got enough fiber. So when it comes to losing weight, a lot of people don't have a weight problem. They have a problem with a hormone in their body called insulin. And most people don't even know that insulin is a hormone. They just think it's insulin. And when your pancreas is out of control, you have insulin spikes, hormone spikes of insulin, and it raises your sugar levels. When your sugar levels raise, you ain't gonna lose weight, and you're not gonna heal a wound, and you're not gonna heal yourself up of cancer or anything else, as long as that's running rampant. And so what this does, this has fiber in it, which it puts a barrier so the insulin spikes hit and they bounce off the fiber. It's got protein in it, it hits and bounces off the protein. It's got nutrition in it to where this releases protein immediately into your body, and then over the next 7 hours it's releasing protein to you. So a lot of people have a hard time eating after taking this. Matter of fact, let me tell you something, if you take this and feel hunger pains, that means that it's working on your body, okay? And so it's like, so when you're hungry, you're searching for stuff. Your body's like searching for protein. And so this, when you start this, you might have some hunger pains after about an hour or two for the first week or so, or just every periodically, because your body is like, whoa, you know, and it's revved up and it's on fire again. And so it's a positive thing. We love it. One of the ways to make it if you're sugar sensitive is that we use a Vitamix at home. If you don't, you can't do this, but I take a Fuji apple, specifically a Fuji apple, and I put it through one of those deals. I take the core, the everything, throw it into my Vitamix, hit high speed, it pulverizes it. I mean, to where it's liquid. You can't taste the seed, the core, the nothing. You can't, it's not like that. It pulverizes it. And you can do it with almond milk, you can do it with 2% milk, or I do it with water. And so you do it with the apple, then I put a scoop and a half or 2 scoops, depends on how hungry I am. And I put it in there. And then slowly blend it all up together. And then a big teaspoon of a certain kind of cinnamon. It's not the normal cinnamon. I'll have to let you guys know. So make sure you're on Sue's emails tonight and we'll get it. We'll find out what it's called. Joe, if you want to call Mary Ann and find out what that cinnamon's called, it'd be great. We can tell everybody tonight.
Yeah,
So the cinnamon is in there, and then you take it, it's like drinking apple pie. I mean, that's what I would like, it is good. I mean, you spill some of that stuff on your forehead, it's so good, your tongue will lap your brains out just trying to get to it. That stuff is really good. So it is good, right? Now, Sue has a little more sophisticated, excellent way of making it, and I really think you need to share what you do. How do you make yours?
I like to take mine and I put about this much 2% and about that much water, and I use ice. And if I have a banana, I do the half a banana. And then I went to the health food store and got the powdered peanut butter that's 90% fat free, and I put a whopping tablespoon of that in there. And it is really good. And then I'll take a half a pack of our latte and put it in there. It's like a chocolate peanut butter shake. It's so good. It's so good.
And so, you know, but a lot of people just throw, and we do this a lot too, just some water and a scoop or so, and just shake it in a real good shaker, and you're good to go. But it's fun to treat yourself with the other ones just once in a while. And Fabian has lost like 95 pounds just replaced his lunch meal with that particular shake. Yes, Dale.
Yeah, yesterday we have this organic powdered pumpkin, and I put that in my shake with a little pumpkin pie spice.
Yeah?
Wow, good.
So you getting ready for Thanksgiving early, aren't you? That's why you're walking around here grinning like a porcupine eating cactus.
Oh, that's because of Jesus.
That's it, all right, we can handle that. Woo-hoo. And here's Thermaline. I'm not a coffee drinker. I'm just not that guy that's never just got involved with the coffee. I watched Mom and Grandma drink 6 pots a day, and I thought, man, there's addictive nature in our family. So I never drank alcohol, never touched it, and never touched coffee because I didn't want to be that 6-a-pot day person. I just didn't want something to own me. This is crazy thinking that way back there. But this is Thermaline, and it has all the components that our coffee has in it. And this is something that helps you with your thermogenics as well. So we use this on each and every day as well. Fantastic product, because when you talk about the coffee, and I think I'll have have Anthony help me here just a little bit. But the coffee is, how you do anything is how what?
Everything.
Tom gets the best ingredients you can get. The lima, how do you pronounce that, lima mui, or yeah, that's in here. It's a seaweed. He went to Tonga and got the best one that has the U, the G, and the F in it. All right, and of seaweed. It's when it comes to the Fukoids in Japan, by the way, they will pay $800 a month for their Fukoid. And Tom comes in there with this. It's 100 times more potent than what they have, and it's like $60. And they just can't believe it. I mean, it's cheaper for us if you're, if you want to help change people's lives, you can get a better deal on it. But you decide what you want to pay for it, and that's up to you. But the Frequatin, it's one of those things. He had got the best product. And before everything, some of the radiation is in the ocean now, coming from the same spill that happened in Japan and stuff. It's coming over. Tom secured 72 semi-truckloads of this product and froze it and put a machine together that has 21 patents on it in order just to produce and extract the ingredients out of this. We use whey protein in there. But you know, when you get a gallon of milk, it has like 120 different ingredients in it. And he only extracts out what he needs out of that milk. And all the other stuff, other companies just throw milk in it and they hey, we use whey. Tom, he has a whole process that he takes everything out of that milk, and he only takes out the components that we absolutely need. This has fruits and vegetables, and a lot of those have a lot of high sugar content in it, so someone who's at sugar sensitive will have problems. Well, not. What does Tom do? He takes the fruits and vegetables, stops, puts the brakes on, and extracts everything out of them, and the stuff that's harmful, he'll leave it back behind, even if it's semi-harmful. You know, because a lot of people can handle the sugar, it's not going to hurt them, some can't. He extracts it out so you're not getting any more in it than what you possibly have to have. And here again, don't trust me, test me. This is why I'm inviting you, and very soon, we just need to announce what we call Red Carpet Day. Everyone just packs up, and we're going to Utah, we're going to hang out, spend some time with junior, senior, and some of the team there, and you can see what I'm talking about, and you'll learn beyond what you can even imagine. So, a couple things. Tom just put together this right here, and Dale brought this. He just got this today. This is a diatomic hydrogen water system with a proton generator in it. All right. So a lot of people's heard about these, water treatments and the Kagans and all that, and how they're doing it. And they say when you drink this, they'll change the pH balance in your body. Well, you really can't really change the pH balance in your body unless you drink 20 gallons of water in one day. And if you do that, well, you're gone because you will drown yourself. You don't survive that. It just does not happen. But those machines, some of those Kagan, other machines out there, they would have plates in them, and some of those plates would produce a little bit of hydrogen. Not very much, but just enough to where it would help people start feeling better and doing better. So for a long time, they thought, well, wow, it's this alkaline thing that's really helping us, and it wasn't. It was the hydrogen it was kind of by accident. Well, that accident turned into something positive. Now they've learned, and understand, when Tom was a science guy back out of college, his main thing that he loved was water science. And all these years, he's looked at every machine that's ever been put out, and he's never jumped into one of them because the science behind it had been debunked. The alkaline has been debunked for 50 years, but they still promote it like it's a big deal. Well, some of the stuff they're doing is a big deal because you're getting some hydrogen in it. So if you've gone that route, you did some good. You were doing the best you can with what you have. Now he has just now launched his a brand new system here, and this is Dell, so we won't dink around with it very much, but we love it. Okay, and on the hydrogen side, I pushed a little blue button. I tap that once, and it fills a little glass with about a little over 4 ounces, and I slam it. And I'll do 3 or 4 or 5 of those, and or then I'll have a big glass, and I'll hit it and hold it down, and it goes bling bling, and the pulse of bling bling. What it does is it'll fill up a glass until I touch it and stop it. So we really love what this thing is doing for us, and the results that we're getting with people is just absolutely crazy. Someone just started theirs. They got theirs this morning. They called me and said, because if you slam a bunch of hydrogen right away, you can get a headache because it's going to detox your brain. Hydrogen's like this. Let me explain to you. It was developed in the 1800s. It was discovered in the 1800s. It's the smallest molecule on the planet. It is so small that it can find its way through porous material like gold and lead, which you didn't even think was porous. You thought that would be rock solid. Well, rocks are not rock solid. Otherwise, you would see weeds growing up out of them. They're porous. And hydrogen finds a way, just like a weed would through a rock, and finds a way through there. Well, what happens when you put hydrogen in your body, this gets me excited what we're talking about now, because we have all this nutrition and many more things that we won't get into tonight, but hydrogen's like this. It literally goes in and can penetrate right into the middle of your cell. Okay, so if I was going to do this, and is it Myron? Okay, so Myron, let's say I was going to give you a jean jacket, and I was going to give you a patch, all right, like your awesome patch or something like that. It says, Myron is awesome, okay? And I handed you a thread, and I said, I want you to take this thread and take this patch and this jean jacket, that's all you get, and I want you to attach that patch to that jean jacket with just the thread, just the jean jacket, and just the patch. Would that be easy to do? No. How come? No needle. But what if I said, now here's a real nice sharp needle, and it's already threaded for you? Could you then attach that patch some way, somehow? And if you want to do it proper and correct, you would pass it over here and it'd be done right. But however, you could take, she knows I'm telling the truth, doesn't she? You're so busted, dude. You thought you was all that in some plastic bag of chips? You just got exposed. No, I'm teasing. Okay, so that would be hard. What hydrogen is with the nutrition, it grabs a hold of the nutrition, and it's the needle that's pulling it right into the cell to make the impact. This is why, you know, Dell's been just, want my machine. And so a lot of people ordered one several months ago, and Tom had them ready to go. He didn't like them. So he rebuilt another one, got it out, ready to go, didn't like it. He rebuilt it. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. And so he's got the machine and it's ready to go, and several people in the room that already have one. And the average person, and Sue's going to teach me this, the average person that's drinking water in a household, they'll spend, you know, a husband and wife, and you throw in a few kids maybe, or grandkids or something, people are spending about $3,000 a year on water. Water's more expensive than the gasoline times 3 or 4. You know, it's crazy what water costs. And, you know, no one's making it, producing it out there. God's the one that blesses us with water, and people are making a fortune off something. So it's just crazy, the whole thing there. And water's not getting cleaner, it's not getting pure, it's not getting more healthy, it's not getting better. This has basically 4 filters in it, 2 that you can see, and a little sediment filter right back here in the corner. It's kind of hard to get to. The sediment filter, and I think it's a green one that you'll need to change every 6 months. The other one once a year. And in the one you change every 6 months, it has a 2 filter stage system in it. So you don't have to have like 4 filters here. They put them together like that. So it's pretty cool how the filter system is. And we're seeing just the results we're seeing is just crazy good. I mean, it's just the energy people have, the whole 9 yards. So that's a lot to share. How do I know the products work? Here's how I know. June the 23rd. Headed to my buddy's house. Okay, heading up towards Ohio. And I'm on vacation. I go to Chicoteague Island with Miss Helen and some of our buddies, and I'm riding a bicycle, and my inside of my legs get just a little chaff from riding a bike. It didn't hurt, just, you know, just a little rub on the leg. A bug crawled up there some way, somehow, and on the inside of my leg, bit my leg right inside here. And injected a bacteria called necrotizing fasciitis soft tissue. That's that flesh-eating bacteria. I didn't know this had happened. I'm double tripling the products. And what does it say? How many of these are we supposed to take a day, 2 a day, something like that? You know, whatever it is. You know, I'm taking 4 or 5 of these a day. Influence, I'm taking 2 or 3 a day, and it's a 1 a day product. I'm doubling up on the Triangle of Life because I'm in a lot of pain. Joe's right here. We're spending a couple days together, and this thing is getting, it's kind of like this bottle here that you would see. It's kind of like half this bottle, maybe a little bit bigger bottle than this, sticking out of your leg like that, kind of coming down at an angle, and it gets as hard as this bottle. Matter of fact, Joe, I don't know if I ever shared this story with anybody, but Helen was right there, Miss Helen was right there when I did it. I thought, man, you got a lot of glands in just a lot of glands. I thought, well, gland got plugged up, and it's got just a little infection. I might need just to go ahead and lance it. And so I got one of these big old Amish needles that you guys sew your quilts with, and because they're all church, and I didn't go to church with them. And so I heat it up, and then I put it under the water and get it real hot, and I stick it about that far in my leg and scream like you'd not believe. And Miss Helen was in the other room. She goes, "You okay?" And I said, "Nah, just clear my lungs, baby." And trying to have some fun because I wasn't okay. I mean, she knew what I was going to go do because I told her. And I poured a little alcohol stuff on it, rubbing alcohol just to make sure. I did that 3 times. Now, you'd think once would have been enough, Dale. It wasn't. I'm stubborn and sometimes stupid at the same time. That didn't help. This thing was hard as a rock. It was hard to get that needle down in there. And the pain was beyond excruciating. And it got so bad to where I couldn't hardly get in and out of the car. And I didn't want to ruin vacations. I just thought, man, what is going on? I just got this glands plugged up. So Miss Helen jumps on an airplane from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and she's flying back to Denver. And I'm going to weave my way back and drive and hang out with my buddies here with Tim and Andre, do some meetings over yonder and stuff like that, which these guys covered for me, by the way. Thank you very much. And they're covering for me Thursday, or for somebody Thursday night. Well, you can talk to Joe about that. He's going to owe you forever on that one. All right. they're helping your team out just because they love your team. And so he'll tell you later. Now, so I'm there and I walk in the hospital and I'm happy. I'm excited about life. I got the same energy I have right now. But right here, you touch me, I'll kill you. All right? And you just, it is faith. It is not a good faith day right there, okay? As it appears. And I go up and I said, I don't really have an emergency. I think I got a gland that's plugged up a little bit. And I said, if you got someone else needs to go in front of me, I said, I got to be on Ohio tonight. And this is like, 9:30 or 9 in the morning. And I said, if you can just whack that and we'll drain it and give me some stuff and we'll go on down the road. I said, I'm taking some really good nutraceuticals that's been helping me as well. And I said, but we're going to need some backup on this one. And so they did. They let a bunch of people go in front of me, that's for sure. I should have never said a word. But finally they take me into the doc. And the doc says, and just said this, says, oh my goodness, come with me right now. Slid me over, weaved me around to a couple more rooms, 3 more doctors rushed in and took a look at what was going on and said, get the gurney immediately. So they brought the gurney and they put me on it and they wheeled me back into the intensive care unit of the emergency room, which is kind of like right by the morgue, which is not like a real good feeling. I'm saying, Vicky, I'm not feeling real good. Chuck, it's not a good moment right now. I mean, that's just kind of like I'm going. I'm really going. This is getting. I walk in faith. That's where I'm at with my life. I'm going. This is getting interesting, all right? And they wheel me back there really fast. They come in this big old thing and this big old box on a pole, and they're doing an ultrasound. And they go, we're going to do an ultrasound. I said, excuse me, that's for like checking out babies or something, right? And they go, no, man, we use it for everything. And so they did the ultrasound, and they run that thing up over there. And I said, you do that one more time, and you will feel the pain. And because they knew I was in pain. And so then they called up the and they're right there, and they said, get the phone immediately. They looked at the results, they get the phone. They said, who's ever an X-ray, clear them out of X-ray immediately. I don't care if they're in the middle of an MRI, they're out of there. Get them out now. And they took me back to X-ray, and they put me in this ginormous ultrasound machine. And they come back, and I thought there's all doctors, but it all wasn't. There's 4 or 5 counselors and about 5 or 6 student doctors that are full-fledged doctors. They're just finishing up their last week of residency or whatever they do before they get get their own shingle and room and all that stuff. And he comes in there and said, DW, we don't know how to tell you this. We're going to tell you just like it is. They said, right now, this very moment, you are massively fighting for your life. And they said, you have an advanced case of necrotizing fasciitis soft tissue. And they said, based on our experience, I don't know how to tell you this either, you will not be here in a day and a half. You need to get your affairs in order. Use whatever phones you need to use, bore mine, anybody, doesn't matter, call whoever you need to call. And he said, this is about as bad as it gets. And I just looked at him and I went, okay. And then he goes, do you understand what I'm saying? He goes, because they all thought it was going to fall apart. Trust me, I was tempted, because right there at that moment, that exact second, I had 2 choices. I could fall and look at all the drama and the storm that was raging and the death that was crawling up on that gurney that wanted to choke me out and take me out. I could listen to that. Or I could look at the sea walker that was coming towards me. I could look at the Lord that was just walking in. And he did. And I said I could look for the peace or I could follow the drama. And I chose to look at the peace. And as soon as I had that vision of the Lord just coming right at me just like that, and immediately, and he said, he repeated a couple of things. And I looked at him and I said, Doc, we talked about have a day and a half left. And I said, well, who made that decision? And they all just smiled and looked at me, and some of them, had your look, and a whole bit. Dwayne's heard this story one other time. And I said, who made that decision? He said, well, you just really don't know what you got your hands on, do you? And I said, probably not, but I know you don't know what you got your hands on. And and so that's kind of a little bit of the deal. And so they left for just a little bit. So I got a hold of the kids and told them, and then they Miss Helen landed, and they told them, one of them called back and said, Dad, Helen's starting to freak out a little bit. And I said, tell her 2 things. Tell her no drama and be with. Okay? And that's just little code words for us. And from that moment, she moved into total faith, total complete peace. Everyone in the family didn't panic, didn't buy into all that, just like, oh, Dad's dying now, that kind of thing. It's just, and I didn't take ownership that I have. And I took the doctor, I said, okay, I'm challenged with this. I'm not taking ownership of it. He said, well, we want to do a surgery. And I said, okay. And I said, I'll let you do a surgery, but you got to come into an agreement with me before you do a surgery. And he said, what's that? And I said, I want you to do everything you can in the natural to attack that with a vengeance. Take all your wisdom, your knowledge, your experience, and attack it. And I said, I'm going to get a hold of God and believe Him to do what He can in the supernatural. And I said, then I'm going to get out of your way, and I'm going to get out of God's way, and I'm going to visualize, see, think, pray, believe that this thing is done, extracted, and dealt with, period. And he goes, you don't have a clue what you got your hands on yet. And everyone there smiled. I said, and I know you don't have a clue what you got your hands on either. Just like that, because I was not feeling like I was dying. Does that make sense? It just, I was in pain. And so I said, okay, we're going to go over this one more time, Doc. And now everyone just busted out laughing when I said that. Will you, yes or no, come into an agreement with me that you will attack this with a vengeance? You do everything you can in the natural, all your talent and ability and what you got to attack. I said, I'm not even asking you to do the God thing. I'll take care of that. You just do what you do and you go at it. I'm going to get a hold of God and believe Him to do what He can in the supernatural. I said, will you, yes or no? And he walked up and he goes, I wish all my patients were like you. And he reached out and he grabbed my hand. And he said, yes, I will. And we had an agreement. And they took me back to surgery. And guys, I like for never woke up. It took me forever to wake up. It was a slow going. And came to, and I'm back in the room. I think, Joe, if I remember correctly, Miss Helen had flown back. She got a return flight for $186. That's just a God thing right there, because they whack you $900 on those deals. They love that. Oh, emergency? Woo! We'll give you our family emergency rate, $900. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, you can make payments. Okay. So she gets there, and I believe Katie was there as well, and kind of coming to and going through some stuff, and Doc walks in, and a little bit before he walked in, I heard two doctors arguing about, well, I want to do surgery on the faith guy. Well, no, I'm going to do the surgery on the faith guy. Okay? And they were fussing about it. And I heard one say something about a wound vac. Just the word wound vac. We can get a wound vac installed at some point. We're going to be able to maybe possibly help this guy. And Doc walked in. He goes, you know what? That first surgery, he goes, it actually did. It went pretty good. He said, but we're going to take you back in and do another surgery. And I said, whoa, time out. So what do you mean another surgery? He said, you still don't really know what's going on, do you? And I said, obviously not. If you're talking about, he goes, we got surgery scheduled Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, until you're either dead, or we got this thing cut out of you. And I went, And I thought, just sat there silence for a minute. I said, okay, here's what we're going to do then. Because here's the thing about docs, I love every one of them. I'm hiring him. The $67,000 bill that came in for that, all that stuff, is I'm the one paying it, so he's getting hired to do a job, correct?
Right.
Just like someone digging a fence hole for me. I mean, I'm hiring him. So that's the way I approach all docs. It drives them nuts. Because they want to not do that, but you're paying them for service. And I go, okay, here's what we're going to do. You're going to do one more surgery. And when that surgery's done, I said, you're going to wheel me out past this intensive care unit, and you're going to put me in a normal room, and during surgery sometime, you're going to install a wound vac. He goes, you really don't have a clue what you got your hands on. He goes, people that, if they do survive what you're going through right now, they're going to be body parts all over the floor. And I said, okay, let's go over the skin. I said, and there's several doctors standing there right now. I said, you went to school for 1 jillion hours. You paid $1 jillion. Your head was bouncing off the book in the middle of the night so you could learn things. And I said, so you could be right here, right now, in this moment, attacking this. And I said, I want you to do everything you can. And all of you put every bit of ounce of knowledge and wisdom and everything you got, and you're going to get one more shot to attack this thing one more time. And I said, and again, I'm getting hold of God to see what He's going to do in the supernatural. And I'm going to get out of your way and get out of God's way. He walked over and shook my hand. He goes, okay, I'm in agreement with you. Just like that. I mean, Harry knew. At that time, there was just no messing with that. Took me back. On this second surgery, they pulled me into the waiting room, or the recovery room, whatever it is. And boom, like that, I wake up. Just whoosh, up out of the bed. And during this time frame, somewhere towards the end of it, had all kinds of visions and dreams about acceleration. And things happening in a short period of time. I mean, you put this thing together in 6 days, come on. And so just a lot of stuff came to me about acceleration, a lot of stuff. And things we'll write about later, but just so scared the nurses. The one nurse screamed, "Ah!" Because I woke up just before, really what? Slow. And so usually what you do, you continue to do in that particular arena. And so this time, boom, up. And so they grabbed me, finally, and they wheeled me up, and they wheeled me right past intensive care. They wheeled me right into a normal room. Miss Helen and Katie was already there just waiting on me. And I got in the room, and I'm kind of, I push the button, the bed kind of comes up, and I'm just sitting there processing everything. And all of a sudden, at the end of the bed, I see just a little, remember I got bit by a bug, so this is kind of freaky fun. And all of a sudden, I see just a little dinky little, like a beetle bug, just go zoom across the end of my bed, just like that. And I just kind of do that. And I remember Miss Helen looked at me like, "What's wrong, babe?" And I didn't say a word. And just a little bit later, another bug went like that. So I said, "That's it." So buzzed the button, nurse. I said, "I think there's a bug at the end of my bed going like that." She goes, "Oh no." He goes, "Well, he's in surgery. They put a wound vac in." And I said, "Okay, now, would you just mind telling me what is a wound vac?" Okay, I was having faith for one, but didn't know what it was. You don't have to know what it is to have faith for what needs to happen next. Does that make sense? See, we get hung up on mechanism. What's the mechanism? How's it going to happen? What are we going to do? What's the procedure? No, you just need to walk in faith and just let the peacemaker take care of all the details, all right? And so the wound vac was, they had this big, huge wound, and Sue, you seen it, didn't you, on an email? Did I ever email it to you? Does stuff like that gross you out, or could you handle seeing a big, huge open wound in somebody? Just checking. She's not emailing it to her. Tim has seen it, I believe, haven't you?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's like taking a big, huge bag, those big, huge Ziploc bags, like 1.5 of those, and just stuffing it full of stuff. That's how big the wound was. In here, down up under there, and another big, huge spot up here, which the numbness is just now. They said they said the numbness would not come back here, and I went, well, again, anytime they said something like that, I go, well, who made that decision? Just like that, like, it's really not your decision. And, well, the numbness is not there anymore, and that's just been the last couple months, so it's like, woohoo, it took a while. Yeah, that is a praise God thing. So what happens is, wound vac, they take this foam rubber and they jam it down into that wound.
Ouch.
And then, yeah, ouch is right, they jam it down in that wound and fill it up. And then they take the best, I mean, you talk about Chuck, you talk about some packing tape. They take the most awesome packing tape I've ever seen in my entire life, and they put it over the wound. Then they stick a hose in there that has 5 little sensors on it and a little dinky hole in the packing tape. And then they tape around it, and then they turn this little machine on that goes, and it sucks until your leg. Have you ever seen those commercials where you put all your, you put this much hose in a bag and it's down like that? Right? That's what they're doing to the leg. Same principle, but it dries out the inside of the wound and completely dries it out. Takes all drainage, all blood, all residual anything, and sucks it out of there. So what was going through that tube was a little bit of residual drainage going through. It wasn't a bug at all. All right. And we had doctor after doctor after doctor after doctor come in and see the guy that had the miracle. We got a witness to people. I had a crew of guys that came over from Australia, and they were there, and they came in to pray for me, and God gave me some prophetic words for each and every one of them, so they never did say nothing to me. It was about them. And this whole thing's never been about me. It's been about what God's not looking for who's worthy, because He's not going to find that person, because we're all just horrible, when it comes right down to it. He's looking for who's willing, And I figured that He had faith in me, till I'd get through that, so I'm going to have faith in Him. Does that kind of make sense? He's the one that started the faith thing. I just responded in like manner. And so I'm getting ready to leave. Hospital thing is completely over. I'm getting ready to go. And the main head doctor comes in for the second, maybe third time, and he spends 2 or 3 hours, and we're talking about life and philosophies, and we're talking about God and the Lord, and he's just really inquisitive. And he goes, well, there's 2 things I can tell you that happened. He said, number 1, he said, that God you've been talking about, he goes, He showed up. Now the truth is, he was already there, but for his understanding, he showed up, all right? And he said, number 2, he goes, those products you've been telling us about, he said, we can see what's in everyone's blood with what you went through. He goes, we monitor your blood every hour to every 30 minutes. We'd be pulling blood samples and understanding what's going on with your blood, so if there's any bacteria, any infection, anything. He said, we can monitor blood. He goes, those products you're talking about, he goes, they put a barrier and a shield, body shield, a shield around that bacteria and that infection, just long enough for us to come in there and cut it out.
Wow.
Wow.
And I went, whew, what if I would have stayed in resistance and said, nah, Laura, I love you, you're my buddy, but just go on this SISEL journey by yourself. What if I wouldn't responded and answered? What if? I wouldn't have kissed and held my little grandbaby up 4 days ago or a week ago and lifted him up to God and said, Lord, he's yours. He's on loan to us, and we commit him into your hands. We don't wait for the church to do their deal. We just do it right there on the spot. The rest of it's just supplemental. What if? What if, Wayne, I would have said, nah, not me. And but I met Tom Mauer, and he's a difference maker. He cares. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it to you. He's a difference maker. And I said yes, and we got on the products, and we operated in faith. You know, so there's a lot of components that happened in there. And we had some of the best buddies on the planet, like Joe and Barbie King. That was down the road, you know, what, 150 miles, something like that? 100 miles down the road. We had Mary Ann Stolfus and Binyol, another set of our buddies in Lancaster. And I was at Hershey Medical Center. And it wasn't the closest hospital, but I pushed a button thinking it was the closest hospital on the little gizmo in the car. And I chose that hospital, not even knowing that it said Hershey's. I told the head doctor two things. I said, you need to change the name of your hospital. You guys are frauds. I said, I didn't get one Hershey Kiss. I didn't get one candy bar. I didn't get nothing. I said, what is wrong with you people? Yeah, it's just not there anymore. Yeah, it's gone. Yeah.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah, there's some truth to that. He's right. And so, you know, and I asked him, I said, well, I got faith in what God did and all that. And I said, but you guys are a little different ballgame. I'm not sure I have faith in all you guys quite yet. You know, talking to the doc. And he's just grinning about it. I said, are you sure you got it all? He goes, well, let me tell it to you like this. He goes, do you still have your leg? And he goes, yeah, I still got my leg. And he goes, what you had was so bad, it could eat through your entire leg and drop it down to nothing in less than an hour. He said, when they told you you had a day and a half to live, he said, if you did survive, he said, every part you can imagine was going to be replaced and be reconstructed if we could even do it. Legs, they already planned a reconstructive surgery for the back end, the back, and all this stuff. And he goes, the thing that did kind of confuse us. He said your white blood count was absolutely perfect. We couldn't have got it that perfect if we tried with medication. He said number two, because we're doing a lot of stuff that builds your what? Immune system. All right. And taking the influence, which I was only told take influence during the flu, and I was attracted to influence. My body craved it all year long. And we're driving down the road. Tom says, wow, that's an immune builder like crazy. And I said, well, Tom, does it help with allergies? He goes, absolutely not. It won't help at all with allergies. And we spent 20 hours in my Beamer driving all over the country. And 2 hours later, he goes, DW, there's 3 things in there, or 2 things in there at least that's going to help you with allergies. No wonder your body wants it. And he goes, absolutely, that's perfect for allergies. And he goes, he forgot all the stuff that he went through, every little dinky thing that was in it, all the ingredients. And so... And the doctor and he walked out, and he stopped and he turned around. He goes, let me ask you something. He said, you have just turned the heads of everyone in this hospital for this whole week. He said, it just changed so much around here. He goes, let me ask you something. He goes, let me ask you a question. He looked at me, he goes, do you care? And I said, you better believe I absolutely 100% care. He goes, I knew it. He goes, I ask that question to almost every single person, and the first thing out of their mouth, they go, about what? He goes, you're either a person who cares or doesn't care. If you're worried about what, he goes, you probably don't really care. You're going to be a conditional care type person. And what I love about, you know, Tim and Audrey, what I love about Dennis and Sue and some of the team that I'm meeting here, you guys care. You care.
Amen.
Laura Bacini cared. Anthony and Dominique and Liana and Lisa, the kids, they care. They care. And this is why I'm here. Do I want to be with my grandbaby right this moment? Actually, the truth is, I really would love to be hanging out there right now. And because next week we want a trip with SISEL, and they're all expenses paid. Have you heard of the Princess Palace in Acapulco? Well, there's another one that's even nicer. It's called the Moon Palace. They're sending us there for a week, and we got to go. Not answer our phones, hang out, and be gone for a few days there, because Tom Mauer cares, you know, and it's a big deal. But we care. If I need to come back here once a month, help you guys, go to your area, do your region, it doesn't matter. I'm not worried about who's not here. I'm concerned about who is here, and that you get the message. Our mission is this: we get toxins no longer are allowed to be put on the body, so we get them off the body and we get them out of the body. And we're on a mission to share that. Our mission is prayer and products. And we get to touch people and speak into people's lives all across the country, all across the, it's even going global now with us. And so it's a big deal. The coffee, Anthony, is there a way to say anything in coffee in 2 minutes?
We'll try our
Okay.
best.
2 minutes, big guy. Our coffee is a game changer. Tom uses the #1 coffee bean in the history of the world. Okay, it starts with that. Is that correct?
Yeah, I usually break it down into 3 things to
You
make
use
it
that
fast.
mic up there,
Oh,
Make sure it's lit.
Make sure it's lit.
the green light.
Press and hold the mute button until it turns green.
technology. Such a great. So there's 3 main reasons or the 3 main things that I talk about when I'm talking about coffee. For Boston, I'm gonna go really quick because I know it's getting late. But the first thing that I like to talk about is why we wanted to move into coffee. Daniel already told you about the products being the best that they could possibly be, but they can't be that unless this company is the best that it can possibly be, right? Everything has to be the best. So the reason that we wanted to move into coffee was because it was trending within the industry. The companies that were doing it were growing the fastest and growing quickly. It's the second most consumed beverage in the world after water. It's the second most traded commodity in the world after oil. It's a no-brainer to do coffee. Most people drink it. Daniel doesn't. He's the exception to that
Yes,
rule.
pretty much the truth, yeah.
But most people drink it. So that's why we wanted to move into it. He told you we use the best tasting bean in the world. It's known as the Panama Bouquet Geisha bean, Panama 1 bean for short. It's won an award 14 years in a row. The World Coffee Association rates, they get a bunch of people, they sit around in a circle, and they taste coffee, but they've rated this being the best tasting in the world 14 years in a row. At the time that we moved into coffee, it was 12 years, so it's won the last 2 as well. We have a few different kinds. We have a black instant, a mocha instant, a latte instant. We have a weight loss coffee that Daniel told you a little bit about. We have the teas. We have a green tea as well. But the most important thing when it comes to the coffee, I skipped the steps part, it's going to take too long. The most important thing when it comes to the coffee is what we put into it. We use the best tasting bean in the world, and we add 4 healthy ingredients to it. One's known as Ganoderma. If anyone knows the industry at all, Ganoderma is a great product. It's a great ingredient mushroom that some of the other companies use. Antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, all these things. And Tom's like, oh yeah, we'll throw it in there. We're trying to compete with those other companies. We already have a better tasting coffee, but let's add their ingredient. But there's this other ingredient I found called Chaga. Chaga is another mushroom. It's 100 times more powerful than Ganoderma. So he put that in there as well. These 4 ingredients combined really, they hit like every aspect, every bodily function that you have, these really help them with. We use a white flowering herb, it's called bacopa. It's great for the brain, and a little green, almost looks like a clover. It's called go-to cola, great for the adrenal function and stuff like that. And the next most important thing is the process that we go through. If anyone here, you can go home, you can look it up when you get home. It's called Proposition 65. What it is in California, anything that is known to cause cancer has to be labeled to say so. If you go to a Starbucks in California, it will have a sign, Proposition 65. This product is known to cause cancer. It's not the coffee itself, it's the process that it goes through. That's not verbatim, but that's what it says. And basically what happens is these companies, they need to dry out the bean so they can grind it more easily. So they roast it at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. If you go to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, if you've ever cooked something in your own stove, at that temperature it's going to burn quickly. If something burns, anything, on your own stove at home, vegetables, steak, whatever, that brown on there is known as the black on there is known as acrylamide. Acrylamide is cancer causing, so that's why they have to label it with Proposition 65. We can't say we're a toxin-free company and we're going to give you all the best that you can get if we're selling you toxic coffee that's going to give you cancer. So Tom found a process. It's a roaster known as the Diedrich roaster. It uses infrared light to cook the bean at 250 degrees Fahrenheit, avoiding the acrylamide, keeping all that away. But we have that issue with, they needed to dry the bean out to grind it. So he looked up another process, the cryogenic grinder, brings it down to negative 100 degrees Fahrenheit so they can grind it up, keep the oils intact, which are actually the healthy part of coffee as well. and do that. If you want more information, I have a magazine that'll tell you a little bit about the ingredients, the process that we go through, and I can talk to you about it after this. But I did that really quick. So
That's awesome.
You can set it down.
All right, so incidentally, we also have another product that's kind of interesting, and it's called Fire and Ice Tea. And it's low glycemic, so if you want to learn to eat proper, keep your hormone insulin levels down, you want to learn to eat low glycemic. And so it is one of those things that diabetics love it. We've helped so many people get off pills, do all kinds of things. Their doctor takes them off of them based on the facts. Their levels go down. All right, thank you so much. I just can't wait to get to know everybody more. Joe King, you want to add something here before we close out?
I did call Mary Ann,
Yeah.
and she said you can actually look it up online and order it online, or you can go to Cosmos and get it. It's called Ceylon, Ceylon.
Yeah, that's it. The cinnamon. The cinnamon that you
Yeah.
put in your shake that's very healthy for you. Cinnamon's one of the things that helps lower blood sugars and stuff. And you can't lose weight if your blood sugars are high. It's not going to happen. So most people here again don't have a weight problem. They got an insulin problem. Guys, we love you, and double hugs from Miss Helen and I. So glad we got to be with you tonight. Sue, we turn it back to you. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of your life and your business. You are sweet. She gets double hugs. Didn't we say that?
Oh, this has been a great night. Always something going on.
Green light.
Make sure it's
Green light. Thank you for coming out. I know some of you have to go, but we're going to hang around for a little bit. Some of you need to talk to DW, I'm sure. Get with the person that invited you tonight. And I learned something just a few weeks ago. 5% of your decision making is made consciously. 95% of your decision making is unconscious. How you've based your past, the mistakes you've made. Do I want to go again? Do I want to do this? I'm telling you what, America is going into these types of businesses more than ever before. Over 8,000 a day are coming into a home-based business alone just in America. Just think about it. People wanting to be home. I love working in my PJs. I love working in my sweats. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. So get with the person. I think you can see the opportunity. That we don't have to say a whole lot more than that. But we have testimonies in this room that we could have had tonight. And if you guys were willing to spend the night, we could do that. But some awesome Crohn's disease. Dell is his cancer counts are coming down on his PSA. It's called, right? On that, just amazing.
So your numbers are coming down.
Amazing things that's happening just in our group in the last few months. So thank you for coming, and stay around. And you got Joe here, and you got Anthony, and you got DW. Corner them and just wear them out. Stay around for a little bit if you can. God bless you, and thank you for coming.
Hello there, my name's Ian Oberdorf. I was the camera operator for this meeting. I also operated the audio during the meeting as well. If you don't see, like, the room's black, but if I kind of wave my hand around here, you see, like, little issues up here. That's because this is a green screen behind me. I hope to be with you guys again soon. I'm sorry if if you saw little jumps in the video. It's actually because the camera didn't exactly record the way I planned, and plus this video took quite a long time to get online because I had to kind of figure out a way to get the video to work right. It was having some real bad issues. Hopefully I plan to be with you guys again. And probably use the software I'm using right now. It's a pretty good video mixer. I could probably have like more than one camera running. Here's a little sample of it. This is kind of what the software would look like. You can still see me up in this little corner here. What you're actually looking at is what's up on the top right corner there. That's actually what the software is. If I did a switch over, this video that's on the left side starts fading in, and I'm a ghost on top of that. Or else I can be hitting one button and then I'm just all the way on top of it using that green screen that's behind me. That's why if I'm on here alone, if I just do that, there's no background. So here's the software. That's what I plan to do. Hopefully in the future I want to use this software with several cameras. I can have up to 4 on here, but I plan to probably have a maximum of 3 and then one that's supposed to be titles. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to this channel because I plan to put all the SISEL meetings I go to on this channel. You will be updated on like any video I do. You'll see my Minecraft videos that I like to do. They're kind of a hobby. I just like playing Minecraft, and I like doing my broadcasting, so I want to put those online. I thank you for watching this video. I hope to see you soon. Talk to you later. Or, I'm sorry. Hope to see you soon. Bye.